Hello.
Hmm.
I'm not liking these numbers. I'm really not. But am I a robot yet?
There were a few words, but I'm sure it was nothing. It will pass.
Okay, if you say so. Let me listen in on my own stream here. But okay, if you say so. Let me listen in on my own stream. Seems alright, even though I hate listening to my own voice. That's a problem for a different time.
What is it about your own voice that you find off-putting?
I don't know. I just, that terrible German accent. I hate it.
You hate your German accent.
Do
you hate all German accents?
I mean, if other people have funny German accents, then I can laugh about it, but I'm not gonna do that about myself.
I mean, I think it's pretty natural to dislike your own type of accent.
Yeah.
Danish are horrendous.
I don't think that's natural at all. But that's because I speak American. We Americans love ourselves.
You just take your accent and call it a different language, and then it's all good.
Problem solved.
Yeah. See, I'm not speaking English with a German accent. I'm speaking German English. That's
This is Danish English.
Jinglish.
Jinglish. German English. Germlish.
Yeah. Trying to think of how you say English in German, but I don't remember.
English.
Ah, well, there you go. That's very easy. Oh, languages.
Let me make the advertisement. Since we are in fact live.
People love ads.
Yeah. Yes, I do want to ping over 100 people. There's a lot of people on this Discord at this point. In fact,
It's grown every now and then.
I think there's exactly 100. That is bizarre. 45 and 55 offline. Huh.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Little milestone.
And of that, only a small margin will have it set so that this fucking server can ping them.
Yes, I mean, I admit sometimes I see in the lounge someone talking about like a long post about some sort of PC stats, and I just,
I'm not referring to that. I'm referring specifically to everyone in here tags.
I mean, it's a good freedom to have.
Alright. Why am I not hearing Discord sounds like whenever I unmute myself?
Because you have OBS on and it has like streamer mode activated, unless you've disabled streamer mode.
I do. You're right. I've been doing this for weeks and I've just now noticed that when I mute myself, there's no ding anymore. It's really distracting. But it makes a lot of sense.
It's really distracting to not hear. Yes, streamer mode gets activated as a way, partially protection and partial to handle some conveniences. You don't get pings, por ejemplo, when streamer mode's activated in OBS. Yeah. Saves you from having to put do not disturb on.
Alright. Because I'm bad at time management, I still have got a bit of food left over next to me. Do you want to do the recap today, Grove?
Yeah, I'll do it. Sure.
Give me a few more minutes.
Yeah. Welcome back to Dragon Coast, everyone. Previously, on the exciting life and adventures of the Dragon game. Well, we can get cracking with the content that most involved Ares' character. Neri will be absent for today's session, as a civil war, it's not even remotely civil, we'll just call it a Grand Guild melee, is kicked off in Westgate, with battle lines being drawn and various factions being involved. Multiple factions vying for control over Westgate, or for someone not to control Westgate. Cormier wanted to get their boots and their fleets in so that they could fully project their power south of the sea, the Lake of Dragons. However, through chicanery and conspiracy and outright attacks, their surrogate, the Fire Knives, were ousted from power, and the Night Masks, those old vampires that were previously in charge of Westgate, are once again rulers of the city. They have support from the Night Masters, as well as the Rippers. And while there's plenty more detail I could go into, you'd be better off served digging into the previous session for what all the hell happened there. Suffice to say that the Grand Melee will be continuing for years to come, I imagine. In other news, the Hierarchy has had its shit kicked in. Its existence as a faction is practically non-existent. The Cloud Giants are limited to basically themselves on the top of their spires, as the Fire Giants have moved into the territory with the help of dragons, who wanted to see the Hierarchy reduced to powerless beneath their spires. Elsewhere, the Red Banner host was paid by Thunderhome to ravage the Hierarchy, and then Thunderhome attempted to destroy a weakened Red Banner host and failed. So the Red Banner host has now been aggravated back towards the dwarves. Also, the Cult of the Dragon attempted to voyage across the Lake of Dragons to assault Marcember and utterly failed. That's about all that is pertinent that directly occurred. The summary. I was told once upon a time to keep these recaps short by Valky. Here we are. You want me to keep talking?
Hours of. No, it's just so we're all on the same page on what's going on.
Yeah. A new hero was created, I guess I'll say that, who is the current vessel of Yathel's soul. She is some absolutely absurd amalgamate of bullshit, and also Jin's apprentice.
Yeah, like a human purple half-dragon something.
Very good. There we go. We left off last session. I'll keep going because Sheep lamented. Was after a conversation with Vigdis, the head of the Fire Giants of the new Hierarchy, figuring out a way at which we could lure at least one Cloud Giant down from the peaks to actually give a damn about the surface here. And Vigdis suggested that hurling insults and slander against the Hierarchy and the Allfather could be sufficient to lure one specific Cloud Giant down. And the dragons and the Fire Giant made plans to capitalize on this.
Yes, we disbelieved one of the Cloud Giants, the Watcher, so to speak, generally the lowest of their internal hierarchy, really dislikes insubordination. So that might be something to use.
And supposedly he can see as far as, well, everywhere, and has like a bow and all kinds of things, and he sounds actually quite terrifying.
Yeah, This has said herself that she would not fight him, not even a little bit, just in by herself, primarily because she cannot fly, and that would be someone who is excellent at flying and just sort of fly around shooting you with a light bow is doesn't see a way to win there.
Well, she has certainly chosen good allies in that regard.
On that note, well, a different one actually, entirely different. We have 2 open goals. We can play around with if you guys have anything. Just current goals here. We have a new one from last time, which was shift the power balance in the Emerald Enclave to favor Malar.
Mm-hmm.
But beyond that, it is pretty much what we've been doing so far.
What you got, sheep?
I would put kill a cloud giant on there.
Do you actually want to kill him?
Defeat a cloud giant.
You know, it depends on a little bit like the goal. Like, do you imprison the Watcher, slay the Watcher?
Defeat is vague in that if he runs away, did you defeat him? Technically, you might win a battle, but if he just goes back up top, then
Oh,
because he might not want to stay and fight a bunch of dragons. And
that's a fair point.
so I guess the question is then, what is the dragon's goal in pursuing this giant? Why do they plan to ambush him?
I'd say the primary purpose is to have one less cloud giant to worry about. Now that can of course be achieved through multiple means, either by, well, killing is the most obvious, killing, imprisoning, subjugating, making a deal, all those things, but in the end we just can't fight all the cloud giants. We can fight them one at a time and remove them from the picture. So yeah.
I disagree. I think it's more. I think the goal is more along the line of. I mean, sure, we could defeat and imprison or slay the cloud giant, but it would be nice to actually converse with a fucking cloud giant that we actually have, like, in our grasp to see if we can get a better sense of what the hell's going on up there from a cloud giant, so that, you know, we're not just stumbling into cloud soup. Or, you know, if we actually have a cloud giant as our prisoner, or slay one, that might actually force them up there to care more, because we defeated one of their own.
Do we want them to care more? Is that part of the goal?
Yes! Because if they don't care more, they'll just stay up there for the next 2,000 years and not do anything.
I suppose we're counting on the fact that caring means actually acting.
Like if
than
you think
turtling up.
if you think we can fetch Valignith with other cloud giants up there in the terrain that's been described,
No, I absolutely
No.
don't believe that.
yeah. Well, in order for us to be able to fetch him, we got to make the cloud giants care, so they actually do something besides just sit up there.
Yeah. We gotta make them do something stupid.
Yeah, because left to their own devices, they won't do anything. They'll send orders down to the surface, and those orders won't do anything, and the cloud giants still won't care.
I mean, do cloud giants eat? Do
They grow food.
They do. Oh, they're completely sufficient, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They don't need the surface at all. which is why we have to make them care. But it doesn't seem fitting to have a goal that's like, make the cloud giants care. So I think imprisoning the Watcher is a sufficient and direct enough goal. Or slaying him outright.
Yeah, either of those outcomes involves defeating him.
Mm-hmm.
But are more specific.
Yeah. We could say slay or imprison. That's as specific as I think we can get.
If he is dead, we will know that you have killed him. If he is captured, we will know that you have captured him. Those things are certainly self-explanatory.
All right.
But which of those would you want, then?
How about we put both on the board? So we can capture and then kill him and get experience for both.
That's right. If we're not allowed to put a goal that says imprison or slay, then we'll just fill 2 goal slots, with one's being imprison and the one being slay. Ah.
We could put imprison and slay. I think I might be cutting out a little bit sometimes. I have had some internet problems around, but it seems not enough to really do much more than sometimes cut a word or 2 out of Discord.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Yeah. Imprison or slay the Watcher.
Yeah. Let's see. How difficult would that be, given the current circumstances? You have a way to approach it. However, there is some significant opposition to the idea. At this moment, I'm going to call it a medium goal. You have a way to approach it. It's not a multi-step process, really.
Medium, alright.
Kill or capture. I'm just going to say a cloud giant. I think that's probably...
Yeah. That works.
Yeah, we have a pretty good idea about who, but any will do for your purposes, I figure.
Yeah. As for the final goal slot, we'll just leave that empty for Aerie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm generally somewhat hesitant to put goals on the board while I'm playing Roman Fear, who's,
not super invested long term, maybe.
Yeah, that's the issue. He wants to keep the status quo, and that makes for complicated goals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, Velignith's goal is wait, I guess. Sit. He's certainly accomplishing that. So.
Velignith's goal is be rescued.
Yeah.
Which is a difficult goal to pursue. Oh god, he is the damsel of distress, isn't he?
Dragon damsel, yes.
Oh, we need the halfling bard to come rescue him.
Oh no.
I too will recruit the supporters.
Oh.
Now she's proven herself to you.
I don't know, man. I think Imizuri might not be trusted by someone who wants to befriend. Like the general human understanding is that you two are enemies.
It's a reasonable understanding.
Like your own minions would know, but it's not like they go talking to a bunch of people all the time.
I've always wondered what because I know Velignith's dwarven minions socialize with Thunderhome, and Velignith's dwarven minions have some understanding that Velignith and Imizuri Leaderfear aren't enemies.
Mm-hmm.
But Thunderhome has spoken with Redenseer. Redenseer informed them that we are enemies.
Yeah, but Thunderhome just tacks that down to Velignith.
Sure, he is very confusing.
Are they enemies with Velignith? No, probably not at the moment.
That is...
So
what does
so
enemies and allies really mean when it comes
to
Velignith?
So they don't know, but they would rather be on the safe side of everything, right?
That's true.
How can
That's true. Yeah.
Further hands in the air. They don't know.
Makes
Is he friends with Elvisol? Some of them apparently. Some of them not. Then he attacks Comir, then he doesn't attack Comir.
these stoic, like logical, like dwarves have just been like trying to like survive, and it's just like
I have established a pattern of behavior. There is none. It's all just random.
all bullshit.
So they don't know. They don't know what to think.
All right, there's our 5 goals.
The dragons, the dwarves of Dragonfane have become more and more separated from their kid. I mean, they were particularly from a clan that joined really when he burned down Elm, but there are other dwarves, opportunists and whatnot that have sort of joined over time.
I just knew they socialized with Thunderhome because you brought that up.
They're not privy to Thunderhome like strategy.
And vice versa.
But they can, exactly. But they can go to like markets, right? Travel the relatively short way, but still pretty long for mountains to the Broken Watchtower and then down to Thunderhome. So,
all right,
they go about it. Do some trading, spend some of their salary and buy some ale and whatnot.
Oh. I'll be right back real quick. There's been a package delivery, and one of the dogs is deeply offended that Christmas is under attack.
Yeah. Any other questions you have, Sheep? We're looking around the board. You got some points of influence. You got 2, so you can ask 2 if you want.
I do have 2 points, don't I?
Yeah. You have some influence. You can reach around, find people, talk to people.
I think all the factions that interest me, I'm fairly certain I know what's going on there. What's Nephilim all about currently? Like, Velignev and the Dragonfane had that Nephilim monk visiting for quite a while.
Yeah.
Who probably really didn't get what he wanted.
Get anything, yeah. It's certainly true. He was there a while. He's probably left.
Oh, he's gone. Okay.
Well, I mean, how many years are you going to wait?
Yeah.
The human lifespans, a year is a long time. You can't just...
And Rimmerfear is not a good replacement.
No, Rimmerfear hasn't really engaged. Maybe also because, when Imizure arrived at first and Rimmerfear were there at the beginning, they were very suspicious of him, and he didn't get the feeling that it was a good time. But what is Nathlan up to? Nathlan right now is deeply invested in Nabanian and getting Nabanian back on foot and back in the Gulfmere forest. They were invested in protecting against the Red Banner host, but now that is sort of handled, they're really happy with their border there at the water. They want to empower some of the people of the Shining Plains, ideally with Nabanian in mind, keeping trade flowing. They're not a great trade nation, but they like Nabanian. It's their primary, one of their primary deities in the city, and the city's rulership, uses a lot of sphinxes and such that are personally aligned with Nabanian. Such, that is their current focus. Trying to rebuild the cult that can operate by itself and function outside of Nathlan.
My apologies for that. That should not happen again.
It's all right. Do you have any questions about things going on? Ruth, you have 3 questions, do you?
No. I know what I want to know about like current actors right now.
All right, that makes sense. Good. Then I don't see any reason we should further delay.
Okay.
Yes, we can move things forward. I believe we were in the process of doing things. So if you all want to set something in motion, then you certainly can. You have the initiative at the moment.
All right, Sheep. You think we can lure this cloud giant underground?
Ooh, I mean,
Because like the fire giant's smaller than the cloud giant, and the fire giant, any fire giant wouldn't want to fight like the cloud giant up on like a surface. But and we have we can fly, but it's much like Amath Fonrin, remember? Like we didn't fight him out in the open. We lured him like into like fighting in front of the Malar Shrine because there's no way in hell we would want to fight him out in the open. And as far as I'm concerned, this Watcher who might come down the mountain is basically got the same skill set that the Lord of Winter Pipers had, which means that he's anti-air, which is us.
Yeah, the question is whether that Cloud Giant is going to see the trap coming. Like, if he knows about General Victus's relation with us, and General Victus is like the bait by insulting him in a cave, I don't know how obvious that will be. And if it's too obvious, then he's not going to come. But it's worth a shot.
Based on the arrogance that's been conveyed to us about cloud giants, I don't think that's like on a table. I also wonder whether, even if, like, Amath Fonrin knew we were prepared when he stepped in that cave. He was just so powerful he didn't give a fuck. It's possible the cloud giant might be in the same situation.
Yeah.
And the Lord of Winter Pipers did almost win that fight, regardless.
Yeah. he did not count on Emmy's appetite.
Yeah. Me using a power I no longer possess to swallow those stupid pipes.
Maybe you can swallow the Cloud Giant's bow.
Well, I don't have that power, so I'd have to use some other shenanigan.
Just eat his daily powers, like you did with that one.
That does delay me. But yeah, since Worsicatrix is currently mired in the Grand Melee and can't join us, and I think we can package this to Victus, her wanting to participate. That way, like, she can like claim glory for this kill and use it to like solidify her position in heading the hierarchy. But in order to do that, we can't like have a fight out in the open where the Cloud Giant can just scoot around the air. I might be able to catch the Cloud Giant with my speed advantage, but then if the fucker shoots me prone, doesn't matter.
Mechanically speaking, and well, just speaking really, Verminfear is a very good flyer. He's got an archetype that makes him actually really good against flying targets.
Okay. So it's possible that you might want to fight the Cloud Giant while the Cloud Giant's flying.
It depends on how fast he is exactly. Like, Verminfear's base speed flying is 5. He's got a few tricks where he can move quite a bit further, to the point of even overtaking Emmy here and there, but not consistently.
Alright, let's work on this foundation. Manikai, I've been told a lot about Cloud Giants, especially how spooky Cloud Giants are, and giants, do certainly fit within the niches of, like, knowledge skill checks.
Yes.
How fast is a Cloud Giant?
Give me a nature or arcana check.
Okay, now we'll give you a nature check.
Just know something about Cloud Giants.
Or that is a Cloud Giant. 16. Hot.
I mean, okay, with that, I can tell you they're giants, which means that they have a pretty good walking speed because they have long legs. What that says about their flying speed, I mean, they fly with magic, so that is probably unrelated. Basically, they're fast at moving doesn't mean they're fast at flying.
Makes sense.
Maybe Ruinfear knows something about giants. Let's find out, because nature is actually something he knows, which I keep forgetting. 36. How about that?
What did you do? I cut out there for a moment.
Sorry, a nature check. Maybe Verminfear knows something about cloud giants.
Oh yeah, of course he does. With that check, he had a friend who was a cloud giant back in the Copper Mountains, I want to say. That's where you're from.
Yeah, Copper.
They both kind of like cold places and such. And Cloud giants, some of them are really good at flying, but most of them do air walking, which means that they sort of slowly drift through the air. They're not particularly fast. The faster ones are still slower than they would be on the ground. They do utilize bridges and like paths and such. They don't just fly their whole lives around. They sort of have to put a little effort into it. You're probably looking at 4 to 6 speed for cloud giants.
Yeah, in that case, Rowan Fear is pretty damn confident that he would be more of a threat in the air than in a cave.
Okay. So, to sculpt this out, the Vigdis will spew these insults, the subordination. The Cloud Giant will descend. Cloud Giant will see us. And then combat will begin. But the Cloud Giant will, unless we are directly hiding behind a thing, like, not even hiding so much as, like, blocking line of sight, this Cloud Giant will see us far, far long before we will see the Cloud Giant. So we'll actually need to, like, I don't want to be, like, we can have this combat in the open, but we can't be out in the open to start. We actually have to have the Cloud Giant come down.
Yeah.
Like, we have to be standing basically, like, in a cavern and wait until we hear the Cloud Giant come down and then emerge. Otherwise, we'll just get shot.
I mean, we can have our plan A, B to fight in a cave, I suppose. He's probably gonna run away and then we chase him.
No, I'm like, since you're cool with, like, having, like, an open air fight, I'm cool with attempting it. It's just, like, we have to, like, we can't, like, be out in the open.
Yeah, he'd just stand at, like, 15 miles away and shoot us.
Yeah, like, with whatever super Cloud Giant bow. Like, we have to wait for the Cloud Giant to actually descend and not see us just by sheer, like, terrain blocking the way.
Victus will say that if asked anyway, I'll just give. She expects at this point to fight the battle with you, so more information about him is probably better. He creates a bow out of radiant light and uses it.
Yeah.
To shoot his enemies. Beyond that, he's the herbalist of the giants, and so she imagines that there might be, some way in which his arrows might become even deadlier than would be expected.
Great.
Herbalists, so like poisoned bows, poisoned arrow, like entangled arrows, that sort of thing.
She says she's never actually seen him fight. She's just seen him kill. That doesn't mean she's seen him fight.
Yeah, like, what is even a worthy challenge for a Cloud Giant that you could actually get a good assessment of how a Cloud Giant fights?
He will take good aim, and then he will kill something.
Cool.
He walks in the air. He creates his bow and arrows out of light.
There goes your snatch the bow idea. She
eat the light.
I think he just creates a new one.
She'll say that she thinks she could take him if he was forced to stay close to her and couldn't just constantly run away and hide and shoot her. She believes basically in her strongest position, she could take him in his weakest. He is the weakest of the Cloud Giants and has always been in power and precision. But that doesn't mean he's for sure. I mean, that could also be overconfidence.
Yeah. And overconfidence is a two-way street,
Yeah.
I was thinking along those lines that my defender/controller role, as I did with Ovisterelix, that I might be able to force this Cloud Giant down and keep him around the ground.
Victus will say she can help, but she cannot help if he's flying. She has no, like, she could throw a rock, maybe.
Yeah.
But that is basically not going to help.
Yeah, with that in mind, maybe our fight in the cave idea is better. We can always fall back to chasing him and fighting him in the air, where it's going to be more difficult to fight him in the air and then get him on the ground.
Victus, as it were, plans to be at the base of one of the mountains and then simply be showing insubordination, really. Declare herself the ruler of the hierarchy. Pretty much. That should make him angry to a certain point. What she imagines will happen then is that he will try to kill her from a great distance, which she will then somehow like duck under something or go into a cave or something like that, to avoid just being shot. Ideally, he will follow. She will have to, hopefully have taunted him well enough that he doesn't just think that means she surrenders or gives up. And then, hopefully you can be in that cave or some such.
Yeah, I remember suggesting to her just like go beneath the ground last session. Yeah.
She doesn't want to get shot and killed, which she's seen happen to others now. She is confident that she could take a shot.
Doesn't mean she wants to.
She doesn't want to.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah. Being victorious in a fight like this would be important, though, because she has absorbed the hierarchy and her current sort of sovereignty is not looking good. So, there's a lot of divided opinions around. And
yeah. All right. We're on the page with that. So what we'll do then is that we'll lurk in the cave that Victus will duck into after she shouts her insubordination. The three of us will wait. If the Cloud Giant doesn't come down, then basically we just repeat the process every day. Eventually, Cloud Giant's gotta, come down, yeah? We got time.
Got it at some point, yeah.
Don't let the Cloud Giant know the Cloud Giant has more time than we do. And once the Cloud Giant actually comes down, that's when we can start a fight. Where we're not trying to hide, we just need to have enough terrain blocking line of sight so that, not even his arrow can penetrate him. Hopefully. Earthseeker arrows blessed by the Stone Giant. Oh, God.
Victus will say he probably has seen stone giants before, but he's probably never interacted with one. She has. But
I suppose that's hierarchy there.
He doesn't deign to.
Yeah.
Speak to.
He talks to fire giants, not stone giants.
Yeah. Once upon a time, he spoke to his frost giants. He spoke to the fire giants, but they died out. So, he'll have to make do. Well, she'll say a lot of the giants have died out, really, given their history. It has been it's been a violent existence. Giants here.
Sheep, is there anything that you want to do with buffing or preparing or acquisition of something?
Yeah, I'm looking at that right now. Radiant. Well, I'm expecting radiant damage and entanglement shenanigans, because that's the first thing I think about when it comes to plants. And I can't think of anything that helps with either of those things.
You don't have a druidic ritual that stops you from being held by plant matter or nature or some shit?
No, not as far as I can tell.
Okay. As I don't have that much knowledge of 4E, let alone what your druid rituals are. That's why I asked.
Ooh, actually, I I may have something that is actually very, very useful here. Not for actually defeating him, but for what might come after.
Okay, yeah.
It would, of course, depend on Manekai whether Ravenfield can either, know the ritual already or somehow find somewhere to acquire it really quick. I don't know if he has a good source to acquire rituals from, though.
What ritual is it?
It is the ritual called Primal Prison. Which is from Primal Power, which potentially, given a high enough nature check, would let him imprison a level 19 creature indefinitely. Which, now thinking about it, I don't know what level Cloud Giants are, but it might not be 19.
19's pretty high, man.
I have no idea how levels of NPCs in 4th edition work, so I have no concept what that means.
Let me go ahead and copy this straight from Primal Power and put this in the Discord chat, as well as share this in the YouTube live chat for
looking at it here.
Audience.
Well, you are a ritual caster, and the character was not created because you had your character has had a long life before you actually inhabited him. So I think having some degree of rituals, we've talked about that before, is okay. It's a high level one. So why don't you give me a nature check, and we'll see if you have enough to have a ritual like this just on hand.
Sure.
You'll still need to pay the component cost.
Yeah, of course. 31, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, that would be certainly the high. You're very good at nature, so I figure it makes sense that he would have a ritual like that.
A peaceful way of resolving adversaries.
Yeah, and like talking to creatures and whatnot. It's not like he grows an evil tree into the heart of an enemy. That might not be something he's... But water breathing, something like this, he's like, yeah.
That could then be useful, but rituals generally, as far as I can tell, don't really give bonuses to combat. So there's no, you're immune to entanglement or radiant resistance or anything like that.
Sure. Didn't know. Thought I'd ask you.
Yeah.
So that you could utilize your character's abilities. Alright.
And potions of resistance do not work against radiant damage.
It's quite alright.
Against elemental damage.
Right.
Yeah, the Cloud Giants primarily do. They are also the sort of priest caste, and so they use a lot of radiant.
Look at that. I don't think I'll change out my magic items. Yeah. I don't think this guy's a fey creature. He's a giant. It's different. I think I'm good to go.
Yeah, same.
Alright.
Right.
Victus, initiate plan insubordination.
Sure. First step will be to go to the base of one of the great mountains. Now, at the very bottom, all the way down, is where goblins live. These are the entrances to the famous goblin tunnels. And Victus believes it'll make a great place to actually sort of to fight, because these entrances are quite big, and
Yeah.
It'll give space to hide in. Now, if you go further into the tunnels, it'll actually get more difficult because they get narrower, because that's basically essentially it's stone giant maintenance tunnels. People are not supposed to go in them, as it were. That's me insinuating that. Of course, she would in fact think that stone giants are. Who even cares? Yeah. So I will just reveal to you a map here.
Okay.
Essentially, you will arrive, and I think there are goblins here, and sure, some of them might be annoying, but you can just like squish them. There's no
heroes to like direct them.
Victus can just tell them to get to leave, right? Like so.
Mm.
There's no
Okay.
real issue there.
Good.
As I will just.
It's nice being on the same team as a giant for a change.
Isn't it? I never thought that would happen. Yeah, so copy your tokens, and this map's already visible. Good. And just take you to the mountain. Oh yeah, because we have Velignith here hanging out. I can use Velignith to just reveal this here.
Okay.
He's out for a moment.
Okay.
He has escaped.
Aha, he's free.
I don't know where to there.
Okay.
Alright. Oh, this is a nice cave.
It's not.
No, it doesn't.
It's a trash cave full of trash.
We had different definitions of the word nice.
But, goblins are around here everywhere.
Yeah.
They live in these like cracks and hills. And
it might as well be Pale Burgle's cave.
I mean, as far as caves go, this is one.
It's not full of like blood sucking. So basically, here you'd go into the cave. This here is inside. Yeah, is that
okay?
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Make a little bit more vision blocking here. Make here. Oh, weird. Yeah, because imagine she'll stand here, and then she will take her. That might actually be. This might be actually really big. Look at it.
It really is.
Might be a little too much. I've revealed for what we actually need. Let's just cut some of it off. Make it a little bit more. A little less to stare at all the time. She could here command, probably call in like hill giants not live around here, but she won't, because if she commands any giants while fighting a cloud giant, that's a pretty good chance that they will not necessarily obey, which is bad for her.
Right.
She doesn't want that to be. She doesn't want that to be even like a possibility.
Yeah. Who do they serve? The fire giant or the cloud giant?
Yeah. Beyond that, a lot of them would just run away. The cloud giants have a harsh reputation. More so because some of the people here are probably not actually what they seem, but are sort of hidden, inserted agents of the cloud giants.
Yeah.
We're just here to kill insubordinates and whatnot.
Hill giants actually smart enough to know fear in that regard.
Oh yeah, no. They're afraid. They don't necessarily know why they're afraid, but they're afraid. As you climb up here, basically, you're like climbing onto the walls of the cavern, right? Goblins like scampering, just running away, like ah.
Yeah. I guess that's a good point. Like, the thought of agents. I'm gonna be on the lookout on these little individual goblin masses. God forbid that one of those stupid fucking like agents that like mobbed and like down Velignith is like here among these stupid masses. Yeah.
Victus will say that she knows about the agents, and they cannot be the size of goblins.
Oh, well, that's good.
They shift their form, not their size.
Okay. I didn't know whether they had any small infiltrators. That's good.
So they will all be orcs and hobgoblins and that sort of thing.
Medium-sized creatures, those doppelgangers.
Which he doesn't want around. They can't be giants either. So
Got it.
No.
Good.
And if they show up, she's confident that she can smash and break them. If need, she's not afraid of them beyond what she used to be careful of them because she didn't want to be cloud gianted. That would be a bad time. She'll also say that she doesn't believe the cloud giant necessarily will be entirely alone. He'll probably bring some of their wind spirits with them from the.
That makes sense. He's got to make a show of it.
Yeah, and they just like to keep fog with them at all times. All right. You're hiding here. Are you taking pains to hide from the random goblins and such that wander about and run about at this point?
I'd say no.
My character would not. I don't think she cares enough about let the goblins know, as far as she's concerned.
Mm-hmm.
It seems unlikely that one of the goblins is gonna.
I think a more cautious person or a non-dragon might want to hide in this regard. It's like a dragon hide from a goblins. It's just the thought could never occur.
I'm just assuming that even if a goblin ran to the Cloud Giant and was like, "Hey, there's 2 dragons hiding in the cave," the Cloud Giant would just be like, "How dare you address me?"
No, goblin would they would never even get there.
Exactly. Yeah. So.
No, they don't speak to hill giants. They don't. The cloud giants don't like to think about hill giants. It's a little embarrassing, you see. Stone giants are menial labor. They shouldn't have to speak to them, and that is sort of their, anything above stone giants they can sort of talk to, not with, naturally. All right. Yeah. Victus, we'll just before we get started here, she'll have while talking to you have taken the chance to consider you, and as part of that, I'm gonna have her roll a check here, just to see how committed you are to this current situation here. Yeah. Well, if you're trying to hide anything, you can. She's not a particularly good judge of character. Certainly not dragons, dragon emotions, so reading. And I think you have what's your passive? I think is it Malignant that has crazy high passive insight?
Yeah, it's Malignant.
I have an passive insight of 26. I don't know what Malignus is.
Well, Malignant isn't relevant here, so I'm not going to check, but his is pretty high.
But I think I can say that both of you would notice there, as you talk about this, just for a moment, pause and look at you and try to guess if she got really badly hurt here, would you just kill her and be done with it?
It could be a setup, yeah.
What would you let on, if anything?
I mean, for a Roman feudal, that's easy. Because he returns favors with favors. If he agrees to team up with you, he's not going to do anything else. He doesn't function that way.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he physically could not.
Yeah.
As for Nimizore Lidrathere, I didn't go all on my way to gift a red dragon to the fire giant in order to kill my new best friend.
All right. Yeah, she seems satisfied with that for a moment, though. Her people are probably not super far away. If it comes to it, she would rather call for fire giant aid than be killed by you. She seems wise enough to consider that maybe this could end badly if she was at your mercy.
Yeah, that's also assuming our team wins. Because
yes, of course. And you get the feeling that she would rather you die than her. Certainly, she's not committed to this to the point of death.
Oh, well,
she would like if you could all just win, but if she's dying, then she would want to leave.
Sure. You know what? I feel the same way.
Perhaps unsurprisingly.
Yeah, I don't think.
All right. Then she will try. And this is really just a matter of time. And we have time on your side, really. Like, if you were going to eat some goblins and then just hang out for a bit while she is here speaking loudly, then that's what's going to happen. Now, what's really interesting, though, is how quickly does she realize that she is being targeted, right? which is probably
that is a good question.
I will give her a saving throw to at least notice anything, and thus not be entirely unaware when her blustering finally reaches above. Yes, okay, good for her. Then he will not have time to use a bane arrow, and will simply strike her with one of his attacks, or attempt to anyway. Now, even though it's not a bane arrow, there will be steady aim and a radiant arrow, which will, even with combat advantage, that will strike close but not hit her.
What does it look like this? Go ahead.
A sudden sound, right? Maybe she even she's aware, so suddenly she just throws herself to the side as from above. Suddenly a lightning bolt of slightly, mostly white, but also slightly yellowed, glowy light sort of strikes the earth and just evaporates in sort of a burst of light, and probably a sort of deep ringing sound, like someone struck a bell very hard as it comes down, and then probably quickly follows another and another as she just legs it in here with a move and a dash.
I think Rerenthir hears Imuzure say the draconic equivalent of "holy fuck," and it's like.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we expected this.
Imuzure leaders here's a bit wide-eyed. That was a bombardment.
Yeah. Now let's just get this on hand for the cave rules. To go through the door, when you walk through the door. In here you can fly, out here you can fly. You cannot see flying creatures between those two zones. Okay? So while the giant is flying out here, he cannot shoot things that are flying in here. He will have to land, then he can look into the cave.
Alright.
Yeah.
So you can fly outside, you can fly in the cave, but you have to land across the barrier.
Yeah. And you have to be standing on the ground, then you can see in. Things inside or outside will have cover from, shooting through. But, yeah. Essentially, forcing people to land to move between zones or to target people in the other one.
Okay.
That's kind of what you have been trying to do.
Yeah.
So that entirely makes sense. And as she comes, you can basically just sense a thin fog. Not enough to really do much, but it sort of blows down with him as something moved fast down through a cloud. As there will be a crunch of the earth, of sort of a wind gust, and then no sound really, as the giant will hover above the ground. Surrounding with him is another thing, a moving, living fog cloud he seems to have brought down with him. That sort of envelops him. This is because this fog cloud has an obscuring presence ability. It can share space with allies, and while sharing a space, it grants partial concealment to allies within it. That's its main ability. Beyond that, it's really cold. So, yeah. But he uses essentially to cloak himself while outside the protection of the clouds. Beyond that, coming with him are some of his what is essentially his little police units. Most air elementals, as it were. I'm revealing them here, but in matter of fact, they are invisible most of the time. So,
okay,
there you go. Scatter them around, as they are unseen. Beyond that, I will ask you to roll some initiative for me.
Will do.
It's the time for that. I will control Victus. However, if you have requests, you can simply yell them at her, and she will try to do it. Her powers are mainly made to knock people on the ground and then crush their skulls and bodies when they're there.
Okay.
So if there's any hint to that, she wants things to be prone, and then she wants to hurt them.
All right. Yeah.
Beyond that, she deals tons of damage, has not great armor, but tons of hit points. She doesn't hit super well, so setting her up is a good thing. She is a brute type creature.
Makes sense.
Good. Sort here. I feel like you guys are prepared here. I would like you to take an action at the beginning of this, as you can sort of hear this going on. And as you can hear, Victus, her armored boots, and I mean her armor is constantly red hot glowing. So certainly also the sizzle of anything that touches the bottom of the boot, like she leaves like burnt footprints and grass and stone and everything.
Yeah. What's your action, Sheep?
No, you can hear it.
I don't think I have one I want to take.
Okay. My action is for Imizure after seeing that radiant like barrage to steal her mental bazaar resolve, that normally fights aberrants or whatever. It's the world's protection. So that she cannot be slow to mobilize or restrained until the end of this encounter.
All right. Yeah.
That's my one action.
Sure. Then we have a myriad of things happen. As invisible things move.
This is the point where it turns out Riminthir brokered a deal with the cloud giant regent. Like, oh yeah, we'll have the fire giant like leader down here, like lure herself into a trap.
The fog elemental currently acts as a part of the Cloud Watcher, and as such will delay initiative to simply function as a protector at this time. More of these little guys. You hear a gust of cold air coming into the cavern.
You think cold air is your ally?
Wait a minute there.
Well, there's nobody here, so can he take a look around to see if he can spot any of the sentient winds moving about?
Let me just check their actual thing here. Let's see here. Cannot be seen by normal vision. Do you have any other sense that you could use to do it? I will tell you, they're flying gusts of wind.
It sounds
very
difficult to actually see.
Yeah, well, you might have some, I don't know.
I think then he's
Tell you
just
what,
gonna.
you are like a divine caster. I would let you do a just custom rule right here, a nature check to try to sort of sense their elemental, because they're elemental type creatures. To sense the nearest like elemental creature.
Sure. Yeah, he's a primal character, not a divine character, but I think that's what you meant.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
A nature check, you said.
Mm-hmm.
He certainly knows a thing or two about nature as well as cold air, but in this case, perhaps there's a bit of adrenaline just interfering with his concentration here.
He tries to look around, spending his move action, but he cannot spot any particular point that would be center of one of these things.
I think then he's just gonna wait.
All right. Doing defense, maybe.
Yeah, basically.
This will. She doesn't like that. She doesn't like running away either. Doesn't come natural to her. But she's not going to charge out there while you two are just hanging out. And the idea was to get him somewhat in the cave, maybe. So she will move. Double move over here, trying to get at least the use of cover. As she then turns around, face him. Give me a Missouri.
Okay. Yeah, I feel the same as well. Like, if that's the working idea, Missouri doesn't feel the need to take this first bullet. I think she'll spend a minor action to give herself a few temporary hit points, as seen there. I think a move action is going to be used to activate the Talon Amulet. So she's hit with a melee attack for whatever particular reason. If these goblins turn on her, they'll take 1d6 damage.
Mm-hmm.
For melee attackers. And then the standard action is going to be in Contemplation. She'll end her turn.
All right. Then Aratus. And the elemental here will, of course, move with things. He will land on the ground. No sound, really, just a soft pad. Very elegant, if anything. And, he will spend his first action then to equip a Bane arrow. Now, he didn't get to do it to shoot it at Victus, but he missed anyway, so that would kind of have been wasted. That's it. Well, it wouldn't have been wasted. No, yeah. Prescience enough to only use them when they hit. But he takes a shaft from his quiver. He does have what looks like metal shafts, but they don't have heads on them. As he runs his fingers over them, they glow, and light sort of covers over them. This time he takes a slight bit of mistletoe and pierces the tip, taking just 6 seconds to actually do it, preparing the arrow and keeping it in his quiver. He now has equipped a Bane arrow. The next hit upon an enemy will deal damage as if it was a critical hit.
And if he misses, is that effect gone?
No.
Oh, okay, so...
Next hit, as he will take a move action step in. He seems to indeed be someone who fights methodically. Takes his time with things. The elemental just sticks to him. Need to... He seems happy to let these his watchers enter before him. This one will appear, striking unseen. Commander Victus. That is definitely a hit, and as it is attacking from an unseen position, the creature grants combat advantage. Now, for this, we'll make that a yellow order. Means grants combat advantage. She'll damage from the bludgeoning of this wind that suddenly turns into a blast.
The elemental watcher becomes visible then after the attack. Okay, until it does.
It has another ability,
which
is the same as air elementals. Basically, that if it starts its turn without an adjacent enemy, it turns invisible.
Ah, okay, yeah, got it.
But they do want to attack because that's what they're here for. And seeing you, they certainly also want to attack. You're not really hidden here. You're just sort of at an inconvenient location. Now they don't really speak, so they can't really tell their master here thing. More like hounds. They sort of will make sound when they bash things. So there's a Ribbon there. That's with advantage.
Yep, that sure hits.
10 damage, and you grant combat advantage. Until the end of the thing's turn. I'll give... This one would like to, but it can't get there. As they swarm here. This one moves to here and then attacks with combat advantage.
No.
The elemental appears, maybe just blasts against her scales. Yeah. It's not enough.
Flaps her wing.
Yeah. Riminthir.
Alright, with enemies visible, although not the right enemies, he's gonna slash at this sentient wind to... That's not what wind is supposed to be like. 27 versus reflex. Are these considered flying?
Yes, they can only be flying.
Then that would be a 29 instead.
Flying thing, so you can be sure. All these things are considered.
Also, that says cold damage there, but he can actually choose whether that is cold damage or not. Actually, no, it's an implement attack. That would never be cold damage. I'm not sure why that is cold damage.
Like, my Grasping Claw certainly isn't cold damage.
Yeah, it's just damage. No, if it were a weapon power, then he has a frost weapon, so he can make that cold damage, but this is an implement power.
Yeah, well, I mean, so a 27 misses, a 29, however, hits.
Yep, 29 then for 16 damage, and it is slowed until the end of Riminthir's next turn.
These are minions.
Strike it. To you, they're minions. Yeah, you're badass dragons. These elementals are below you in most respects. As he smashes it, disrupts its elemental presence and being, and just makes the wind sort of blow away naturally.
And if he knows that if they I mean, he can help. No, he can't get there. He could get here. He would expose himself, which he's fine with, so he's gonna go here.
Okay.
Flank the air.
The Cloud Watcher narrows his eyes, looking between Riminthir and Vigdis. It would appear that this giant is more heretical than he thought.
Oh, I didn't realize that the entrance was there. Yeah. I keep looking over here as the entrance because it sort of looks like that.
That was a bold move that we were like. I think Emissary just like looks in confusion. Like,
yeah, I think I won't take back that move because I'm silly and misunderstood the map layout. No, it's gonna be Riminthir jumping out there trying to make sure that the wind doesn't move away, or like glancing over and giving like a almost a challenging look over to the Cloud Giant. Like, you didn't expect this, did you?
He pulls his bow back. This elemental will attack Emissary with combat advantage.
that hits and makes 4 damage. I'll take 10.
And it will poof.
Go down to 133. There goes my 10.
And damaged her. So, guess we'll retroactively do that.
Oh, well, that's more awkward that Riminthir made that move now.
Well, it's not super awkward. I'll just show you that.
Oh, hello.
Anyway, so maybe you sensed it. All right. Victus doesn't, though. Is this... I mean, she guesses Riminthir sort of called it now.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
Well, what else are you going to do? Just move forward and... oh, boy. Well, she can't see any of these damn things, so... she'll just move forward. Basically turning on the heel and moving the other way. Probably like saying some cursing giant.
Which I understand. Oh, yeah.
Emissary.
As a free action, Emissary Leader of here will invoke the power of the Helm of Vision Unclouded to see invisible creatures and objects until the end of her next turn.
Okay. So that one is currently in your vision. I think one is too.
Okay.
I'll just reveal this one too.
All right. Cool. Got it. Let's see here. Chart out my movement here. It's important. All right. No, knowing these things are here, a move action will first take her like this.
That's a lot of provoking. All right. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4.
I take 3 hits.
All right.
30 points of damage, and that's a 1d6, 1d6, 1d6. I'm at 103.
I guess that's a way to do it.
Yep. As the green dragon is slashed by wind, and the beautiful amulet that Amrath gifted her years back lashes out in return at the attackers.
The wind hoping to harass and to make her knock her off her feet to make it easier for arrows to strike, but she sees them and is prepared for it, so they cannot use their.
She sees, yes. Let's see here. That was a move action. My standard action will be to move 9 this way. Like do that.
So much speed. All right.
And a minor action will be to battle Mind's Demand with a single power point. She can do that. Both the Cloud Giant and the Greater Fog Elemental. To mark them.
Fair.
The Green Giant just sort of like wheels out around through the wind, hurt and harassed.
It's upon this green dragon. But he says nothing. He doesn't want to waste words on you. He's not really a giant of many words.
Yeah, that's fine. She's used to giants not talking to her. That'll be the end of her turn.
She earns a sneer.
Yeah.
And then she earns a shift back.
Okay. He shifts. Now I clicked the wrong power. Let's try that again. She teleports. Like so.
Well, that's a thing. What is it time to use? I mean, provoking is just something he's got to have to deal with at some point, because he doesn't have a lot of powers that don't. He's an archer, and certainly a long-ranged one, as you could see. He can shoot up to 30 squares. Just
Yeah.
so.
We've done this before. Lord of Winter Pipers, Satyr Lord.
We'll turn around and well, you're right there. So he provokes an attack by raising the bow towards you.
Okay. She will try her Grasping Claws attack, because she can perform that as a melee basic attack. A 25 versus Reflex.
That's a miss.
6 damage on the Cloud Giant. He gets his attack off.
All of the beautiful fog that surrounds him.
That's right. And I take a -2 to my attack rolls because of that partial concealment.
Yes. Beyond that, while attacking from a concealed position, Cloud Giant has advantage.
Okay.
As he will shoot this bow right into the face. Let me show you. See. So this will be at a +2.
All right. Understood. That will hit and auto crit. Well, not auto crit, but how much damage is that?
Give me a second. I think it is 43 points of damage.
Yeah, Missouri Legiofera activates her immediate interrupt and turns into iron. So that powerful arrow that launches right into her face thunks right off her head.
I like to imagine like it strikes her, right? And you see like for a moment like the scales blown off and such, and there's just iron underneath. It just reinforces.
As a free action, she sneers at the Cloud Giant.
That's disappointing. Now he has to begin recharging his arrow. Okay. Yeah, well, that's how it goes sometimes. This fog is still happy to be here. It's protecting Eritis, and it will reach out and try to use its chilling touch upon the Missouri.
Okay, that misses.
Then we have this little one will attack Ribbon Fear.
That is a miss.
Okay, and you're no longer yellow. So I'll come join.
There's also a miss.
Victor. Ribbenthier.
Alright. As a minor action, he will use his flying skills, beat his wings, and shoot past these elementals. As he too is elusive wind. As a minor action, he flies 8 squares, doesn't provoke attacks of opportunity. Which will put him here. What distance is that actually? 15.
If you have a small AoE burst to take care of those 2 Watchers, you can do that instead.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they're just going to keep harassing you, granting combat advantage, dealing 10 damage.
I'll tell you, these guys are air elemental specifically. They're not fog, so they are not resistant to cold. If that matters to you.
I guess, yeah, he'll like turn around and blast some cold at these guys then. With some chill wind to dissipate the quite angry wind actually. So this will be against both of them. It's a +1. I'm not gonna draw. 36 and 30. Well, 38 and 32 with Fortitude.
Both hits. Fortitude is their weakest.
Right, that was a minor standard action then, and then he's gonna keep rushing forward out of this cave. Shouting to Victus as he runs past. I didn't quite like the idea of a trap, so let's go out and face him in the open, shall we? It's much more honorable that way. Much more significant.
Zure tells Victus to wait.
Fuel delay. she looks to Ribbenthier, and her way of fighting is to raise the massive maul full of it's basically like a maul made of a steel net mesh covered filled inside with boiling slack or sort of burning slacks of metal that she then bashes things with. And she's just about to really get angry and get going into this fight, and then she like halts for a moment.
Yeah, as Zure like waves off. Eyes the cloud giant as her scales like recover from being like coated in iron. Attempts to discern his presence. She has fought bigger foes all of her life. There's no reason why this can't happen now. Again. Once again. Surely the successful train of continuing to fight bigger enemies than her will continue to prevail. As a standard action, she will wreath her claws in psychic energy and lash out with her Mind Blade at the Watcher. 36 versus Will. Or I suppose 34 with the partial concealment.
Oh boy, that does hit. Yeah.
Okay. Cloud Giant Watcher falls unconscious. Save ends.
Will is his weakest defense. As he fall unconscious.
As bigger foes, and she gets a sense of satisfaction in being able to twist this creature's weak mind, and for there to be witnesses to how great and powerful that she is. The save ends effect. Of course, unconscious targets are helpless, take -5 to all their defenses, can't take actions, fall prone to possible, and can't flank. They grant combat advantage and can be the target of a coup de grace. She will use her action point now.
Turns out his special ability here, or his special item that he's wearing, his ring, doesn't help saves against unconsciousness. It's not one of the things it does.
Okay, I will use an action point. When I do so, I become insubstantial and phasing until the start of my next turn, as Amizure turns sort of translucent, as the psychic winds sort of whip around her. Looks down at the prone, unconscious Cloud Giant. Consumes a power point, so she's down to 7 now, and goes for a brutal barrage attack. So the combat advantage will cancel out the partial concealment. and he just has -5 to all of his defenses because he is helpless.
Yeah.
All right. So that'll be a 45, 45, a 1, and a 33 versus armor class.
That is 3 hits.
Okay, that'll be 3 critical hits then. So it'll be 18 plus 9d8 plus 6. Yeah, that's 24 plus 98 damage. 66 points of damage.
Crunch.
As now that the Cloud Giant is prone, as she begins to rend and tear with her claws and teeth into like the body, like pushing through the wind and the fog to rip out the Cloud Giant. I think, yeah, that was a standard action. That was an action point for a standard action. A minor action is going to be to breathe Dragon Breath on the Cloud Giant and the Greater Fog Elemental.
All right.
It'll be 2 attacks. The first one will have a... I don't think the partial concealment helps in this situation.
Not against area and burst.
Yeah. Yeah, so the first attack will be with a +7 versus reflex. So it's a 30
30
and
hits.
then a 27. So the 30 is a crit. So that's...
The 27 doesn't hit the element.
All right. So the Cloud Giant takes, looks like 18 points of poison damage. All right. Move action can be, it is now your turn, Victus.
Boy,
It'll be then Missouri's turn.
yeah, you certainly have set her up about as good as you can. She can only get to here, but you know what? That's fine because she has reach too. So, yeah, no, she will at one point actually look at Missouri here for a moment, but it's just sort of an astonished, what the fuck expression. Like that is she thinks that is total bullshit.
That, in one reality, was going to be used on Victus.
Yeah, she's not okay with that because she will show what she had planned to use with you. Then, she will target one prone creature using her overpowering blow ability to make a searing maul attack. Here with advantage.
Yeah, she has an additional +5 because of the helplessness.
Which means it hits. Healing.
And that's a crit.
Boy, crit, isn't it? Oh, I did my stuff, didn't I? 40 damage. No, 40. Oh, God. 56 damage on that. And she's not one to be shown up because now that means he's grabbed by her. Which means she moves to here. As essentially what happens here is she strikes him down, moves over, and as he's prone, places a boot on his neck. And then she will action point to use her what she really wish she could do to people more often, but it doesn't often happen, to use her crushing ruin power. It's almost a waste when he's unconscious, but that's how it goes. 60 points of damage to a grabbed enemy.
Oh, fuck, dude.
Her plated boot stomps down upon the neck and skull of this giant.
All right.
I mean, in fairness, I wouldn't survive, you know, being stomped on by a fire giant. So yeah, okay.
The sizzling and boiling of the molten plate sort of going there. As he's still unconscious, what are you gonna do? I guess he gets a save. I guess he gets a recall first and foremost. Who knows? Yes, he has his Bane arrow back.
That's gonna be useful.
Actually, he's got right now though. So let's see a saving throw.
He does successfully save against it. He takes 16 psychic damage.
Boy, he's still prone and grabbed. And that's the end of his turn, huh?
And the end of his turn.
Boy, no. Oh, God. All right. Well, the elemental here will try to attack. Fuck.
And he's now dazed, save ends, right?
He is not. No, that's on a miss.
Oh, that's a miss, not an artifact. Sorry.
Oh, that would be even.
Yeah, it's an unconscious or a daze.
Yeah, which is good either way. Fuck, elemental here will try to attack Missouri. She's next to it.
That definitely does hit. So I will take 25 cold damage. I, of course, am not slowed because of the mental triumph.
It is not a smart elemental. It just follows him and tries to cold things that are attacking him.
Yep. Definitely take that. And it will take 1d6 points of damage. 4.
Right. Sure it will. As the cloud giant laying on the ground, his eyes opening and being wide, I think, if anything, as he looks at the underside of a sizzling red boot, red hot boot being pressed down on his face.
Well, Revenfear is certainly going to join the fun. He is exactly in range, even. So he will move there with a bestial fury and just, jump this prone cloud giant and start just slashing at him with his rending claws. He's not flanking, unfortunately.
The advantage you have will be negated by the concealment, so you just,
Well, that's a miss then.
that is a miss, yes.
I think this is action point territory.
He doesn't want to stay, is what I can tell you.
Well, he got it though. Let's see. That's a range that would provoke. Let's not do that. Well, rending didn't work. How about mauling? That's a good word. Some feral mauling. 40 versus reflex.
That hits.
For 26 damage. It shouldn't say cold. And he takes a -2 penalty to attack rolls, save ends.
-2.
So move, standard. And as a... let's not do that. Alright. Dragon Breath, he'd have to hit one of his allies, which is not good. So that'll be his turn.
Okay. Emizure.
So he runs in there slashing and swiping.
Emizure will use her standard action to invoke a new power of hers, what the Lodestone lore has turned to, as a sort of the psychic winds that whip ever so violently and chaotically around her begin to turn it into a gravity well, focused upon the Cloud Giant. That'll be 27 versus armor class. Well, no, it's 29, but it's still going to be a miss. Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, 6 damage. He is not slowed until the end of her next turn, which will be advantageous, I'm sure. Yeah. Move or minor, I will not invest anything in right now. That'll be the end of her turn.
All right. I mean, Victus is doing the thing she wants to do. She's getting grabbed. Everything's good. We'll just continue crushing that skull. Yeah, that's her turn. He is hurting pretty bad. He has combat advantage because he's attacking from a... first and foremost, let's stand up. Seems like a good first move. Now he has combat advantage from the concealment, which negates the -2 to attacks. So these attacks will be on base, as he will use his encounter power, try to get out of this situation, because this is a bad situation to be in. He will use the Radiant Winds. The first one will be against Emizure, then Rimenthir, then as winds of light begin to move up the fog, illuminating and shining out.
Even with combat advantage, it doesn't hit me.
Rimenthir, 40, that's a natural 20, actually. So
yes, I mean, it hits.
It looks like 28 radiant damage on you.
Damage, yeah.
28. Ugh.
And you are pushed 3 squares.
Now the really important one to hit. Oh no.
I guess.
Against the fire giant?
Yeah, I mean, he just... if you push someone, they drop you, so...
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It's like, can I use
Sucks.
Can I put the 40 on the fire giant?
What else can be done? Probably try this. That is a... No, that would not work. What about... Can't do that. It's a really bad spot. It's a real bad spot here. Gonna spend that action point.
That makes sense.
Just on what? He needs to get free. Yeah, I guess he'll just attempt to get free. Now, Victus is here. He's not actually against her defenses. She has an escape DC. Let's take a look at what his bonus is to athletics.
Things you never thought you'd check. What's the Cloud Giant's bonus to athletics?
It's not on his token. Let's see here. That's oh no, he has an incredibly good bonus.
Yeah, I mean, he is a Cloud Giant.
He's very strong. In fact, he cannot fail to get free.
He can't fail to break free from her?
No.
Well,
Well, he's low because she wants him under. She wants to crush him instead
makes
of
sense.
like
Yeah.
grappling.
Yeah.
The grapple is more of a condition.
So he uses his action point action to break free then?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
what has to happen. And then he has to save against. No, he still takes the -2 to attack rolls.
That is good to hear.
Well, this elemental will just attack. It doesn't know that things are bad.
Yeah, that hits me. That is going to be enough to knock me bloodied, which I'll go ahead and use a immediate reaction on that. And it'll be bloodied me. Weapon of Shared Wrath. Victus, go ahead and make a basic attack as a free action.
Oh boy, yeah, she will against.
Against anyone.
Yeah,
She can just make a basic attack as a free action.
the Cloud Giant.
She does have combat advantage because we are flanking this, so that'll cancel out the partial concealment.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, that's a miss.
I'm at 50 HP. Set myself to bloodied, and also the fog element takes 4 damage.
She's, by the way, having an incredibly good time right now. She didn't know how much resentment she had for these guys. For them thinking they're better than her. Obviously, she's the one who's better than them. Ribbonfair.
Ribbonfair is... Can't really support your ton. It's too early for that. So he's just gonna go in there and make sure that it will be difficult for him to run away if he chooses to try. By just doing some grasping claws. 35 with reflex.
That hits.
For 10 damage.
And he is slowed until the end of Ramonthir's next turn.
Yeah, well, not going to be relevant.
Great.
Because he only had 10 hit points left.
Ramonthir, you've slain the Cloud Giant.
You move in, basically, like, you know, he's like standing up in the fog. For a moment, you see, like, you know, there's the burst of radiance that pushes Ramonthir away. The fog condenses on imagery that begin to cover in ice as the Cloud Giant sidesteps a blow from Victus. Then Ramonthir comes in with his claws and just...
Can he choose to not kill him, but rather just hold back a little bit?
Sure. I mean, hold back too much and he'll live. I mean, he's at 0 exactly, so it's not really overkill in any shape or form. I'd say it's certainly fair that he basically jumps his face, I guess, and just
makes
him
collide with him and knocks him out.
Yeah, falls back to an unconscious, dying state. Victus just she looks at it. She didn't think she would see that ever, and she calls out like she had before. You know, I am the ruler of the hierarchy. Come see my deeds. Because now she kind of wants all the giants to come see. what's going on. At least, from a distance. Sure, they'll see her fight with dragons, but they'll interpret that as her having them under control. She'll let them come to their own conclusions. Well, Amy Zurai.
Missouri looks over and there. You have your prisoner now. Good. She'll focus on the fog elemental. And I think given the situation right now, she will breathe in deeply. And as a standard action, she'll go ahead and second wind. Now, because she is in her current condition, bloodied, she'll gain an extra 14 hit points. On top of the 34 she'll be receiving. So that's 48. Taking her up to 98 hit points. She's no longer bloodied. Also, she now has +4 to all defenses instead of the +2 from second winding. Move action. I think she'll just shift here. That'll be the end of her turn.
I'll just can I just you can change your movement, but I'll just put that there because that's basically what it wants to do, right?
Okay, got it.
Protecting the body.
That makes sense.
It doesn't seem to realize that he's down or anything. Make this shift down here, and can't really knock a thing that can only hover prone. So I'll swing him all at it.
Very good, Victus.
He's good at doing a bit of damage to the which will probably just continue doing what it's been doing. You have marked it, so seems like the most base action it can. It's just
that definitely hits. 98 minus 70.
To keep trying to chill you to death.
It's even with my second wind.
Unconscious giant. There.
All right. Still fog to be fought, so he will do that. He will grasp the fog. He will shift down and then grasp the fog. It is flying, and he is flanking, so that's a 41.
In fact, it cannot not fly. So, 41.
The fog is slowed.
Cold damage?
No, it's not cold damage. It's standard. Untyped.
It's a slow fog. Can be slowed just fine. Amy Zurai.
Aha, you fool. I will spend a power point. I now have beguiling advantage because you are slowed. I deal extra damage equal to my charisma modifier against you. And I will brutal barrage.
Cold.
Right? Brutal barrage. The fog elemental. Be a 36, 26, 30, and 34 versus armor class. +2 to all of them.
That's 2 hits.
Okay, 2 hits. That looks like it will be an extra. It'll be 32 points of damage, and if it can fall prone, it does, but I don't think it matters.
But it is bloodied. Yeah, Victus will just continue trying to finish the fight. Another hit. It will continue trying to stop you.
That will miss.
Freeman's here.
The Freeman Fear will keep doing what he's doing. Slap. 40. 15.
Can't go wrong now.
I'll spend a power point to brutal barrage the slowed elemental for a 38, 43, 38, and 30.
That looks like 3 hits.
Okay, so it'll be 36 points of damage.
Ah, yes, to differentiate the...
Right. And I slash away the fog with the power of my psychic mind.
Blows away. Leaving the body, for the first time, visible and on the ground. As Victus looks down at it with disdain, the maul. She'll say, and I used to think they were actually somewhat superior. Skill and power, But look at it now. She's tempted to just crush its skull, but she knows that wasn't the plan.
Regithir says, "Yes, I'm sure they, much like other members of the hierarchy, have trafficked on arrogance, and that is what led to downfall."
The fools.
Rearmanthir, do we need to take him somewhere to do whatever you want to do?
Anywhere will do. We just need a rock face, a large enough boulder. A tree would do, but I think something rocky would be more ironic.
Rearmanthir like gestures towards the cave wall. It would be certainly some irony to imprison the cloud giant like next to the goblin warrens.
Hodgson says we should probably hurry, though. In time, someone will come for him, I'm sure. Though we might be able to just destroy them when they do. It's not like the hierarchy has much pulling weight here anymore.
Rearmanthir, without so many words, will then drag the body of the large giant into the cave.
He's surprisingly light, actually. The cloud giant's made of much flimsier stuff than the others.
I have a 1 cruddy adventurer tier healing potion left that can be used to stabilize him, but I don't want him to actually like regain hit points and become conscious. He's got to be like helpless.
That he won't die, I can tell you that.
Cool.
Worth noting, though, that this might not work, in which case I suppose we'll have to go to more mundane means of restraining him.
Stick him over here. You're trying to melt him into the wall or something.
This takes an hour? Is that how long the ritual is?
Yep.
Yeah. Suppose that's enough time for me to, like, search the cloud giant, yeah.
Yeah.
You said something about a ring.
Yeah. The cloud giant has what seems to be old armor put on, certainly. It seems to be quite out of date from what you would expect, so technology-wise. Meaning it's inefficient at best. Seems like the cloud giants haven't really kept up with fire giants or the smithing for a long time. Beyond that, he has a ring that certainly appears to be magical, and a lot of filigree, religious symbols, that sort of thing.
Like,
The various symbols and such would be worth 6,000 gold in total. And the ring can, during the short rest, be identified as a ring of unfettered motion.
I think the 6,000 gold pieces of religious iconography is more suitable for Victa's sheep. What do you think? Because like it's all like hierarchy related, and it's sort of like symbolic for her to have that.
I think it makes a lot of sense, yeah.
She'll take it. She's not going to demand treasure parcels from dragons, but she'll take it and certainly also feel like it's her. The ring is also infinitely worth more than any of the money. Let's say about high-level magic items. They're very very valuable. This is a 20th level ring. While I'm cutting it out here, it has a property on it, which is a +4 item bonus to acrobatics checks. In addition, you gain an item bonus to reflex, equal to the number of milestones you've reached. So slowly increasing reflex defense over a day. I guess that's not really super relevant for dragons or giants, but
yeah, as I say, like not really worth for like the person who was wearing that, or
what it does have is a daily power immediate reaction trigger. An attack hits your reflex and immobilizes, restrains, or slows you. Effect: you make a saving throw against the effect that immobilized, restrained, or slowed you, even if a save could not normally end that effect.
Okay. Neat.
It's a way to not be shut down.
Which is why you brought up like, ring doesn't help against unconscious.
It sure doesn't. Nor that, I mean, it wasn't a reflex attack anyway, but
yeah.
It's almost like the game doesn't really expect you to to do it.
Right.
For the most part. All right, there you go. Ring of Unfettered. It's also worth a handy penny if no one wants it. But
Yeah.
Level 20 item.
Yeah, I certainly do have an open ring slot.
reflex attacks are somewhat of a problem for both giants and.
Yeah, that definitely does come up. Though we don't exactly hit a whole lot of milestones because that requires 2 encounters to have a milestone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we generally hit 1 at most.
Mm-hmm. All right. You can also spend healing searches if you want during the short. I guess Raymond did, but
I will
Roman
do so.
feels busy.
Yeah, give
Nice.
me a nature check sheet. What?
Sure. Let's see if this actually works. I mean,
Yes.
that's as high as you can get it.
Yeah. Which means that it is a level 19 prison, which will be enough to hold him. Is not above level 19.
Good job. How does that look, you think, Sheep? Over an hour of like performing like this ritual over the dragon's body. I'll go ahead and tick that I no longer have the potion.
I think it's basically Roman fear carefully like propping the body against the cave wall, and then with a bit of a mumble, a bit of a concentrated stare, it just ever so slowly, almost imperceptibly slow, starts sinking into the cave wall until like the hands and legs especially are just completely encased, whereas the rest is just sort of sticking out.
All right. It looks like the subject falls asleep.
Okay.
It cannot recover from beyond bloodied condition, so if left here for several days, he'll slowly recover to bloodied. And then, yeah, he's stuck in a rock.
Yeah, Roman fear, as this is basically finished, will not exactly turn towards Emmy, but clearly address her while still his gaze lingers upon the now imprisoned cloud giant as he says, I know this is necessary to free Velignov, and as far as our options go, I prefer this over straight up killing this cloud giant. But I'm not entirely comfortable with most of the situation, as, well, looking at things in general, this giant is just... He's not exactly... well, that's putting it... Words are difficult. He is...
Raymond, when you attempted to resolve the situation in an amicable fashion, you were degraded, debased. And in what just transpired, Vigdis stood at the base of a mountain and hurled insults to which she was greeted by an immediate attack. And when I went outside to confront the attacker, I had an arrow attempt to be put through my skull.
Yes, it certainly escalated in a way that makes sense.
She said, I do not know the specifics of what you have done with your ritual, but the cloud giant is alive. We cannot interact with him, and he will remain where he can one day be freed. Yes? At a time of your, perhaps someone else's choosing.
Yes.
She looks like, do you foresee a situation which we could have handled this in a way that would have been more comfortable for you?
Well, ideally, I would have talked to the cloud giants. We would have come to some sort of agreement that only involves myself, perhaps, and then Velignov would have been free to go to do as he pleases. My debt would have been paid off, and the only one affected by any of this would be myself.
you tried that already.
I did, yes. It didn't work.
Right, so back to my question. What way could we have resolved this encounter in a way that would have made you feel more comfortable, given what transpired?
I think this was the best way to resolve this. That is not my concern. My concern is the things I have to do to repay this debt is probably going to be something that I just cannot be comfortable with, but such is my life, I suppose.
She squints at Rearman there. She says nothing further.
In an ideal world, neither of us will be forced to act in such a way that after I am no longer pushed by my debt, I can look fondly about our interactions rather than focusing on the moments where I had to do something I would rather have not done. Now, this is all very complicated and quite frankly not very productive thinking, so perhaps we should get back to the matter at hand.
She says, yes, that sounds more reasonable. Like rakes her like head with like a claw, like squints at like however like the wall looks after the cloud giant's been imprisoned there. How's it look?
It's probably just been like melded. At least that's what it says. He's swallowed by the land.
Okay.
He's just sort of like you push him in, and he's just sort of like, I imagine like the surface of the rock turned into like an oily liquid almost, and he sort of just gloops into it.
Okay.
Smooths over and just looks natural, like natural rock afterwards, right? That's what I see with the ritual. Raymanthea will have a personal effect. That when he brings it close to it, he can sort of press it towards the earth, and it will release the cloud giant. That's the way to take
Perhaps
it.
a feather off of like
some
sort of like token or totem.
Mm-hmm.
The Missouri like touches the wall with like her claw and sort of like nods approvingly. Like she shakes her head and like she looks away from the wall.
So you're speaking loudly in giant. An assortment of her people seem to have been brought.
What's she saying?
She is telling them that she's brought down one of the heretical cloud lords, who, by her word, have killed and killed the king and tried to usurp the triumvirate themselves. This is the first step on justice, but there's still more of them that must be hunted down. Though she has no doubt that it is within her power to do so.
Missouri does not interrupt.
The giants don't cheer or anything like that. Most of them just bow or kneel when she is done speaking. Or she will tell them to let no one enter this cave, lest they be my current companion. It is certainly visible that there's no stone giants here. Just a couple of hill giants and then a handful of fire giants. The stone giants haven't. She will turn around and go back in to see the two of you there, I suppose.
Mm-hmm. Missouri like bobs her head, looks up at Vigdis. It was good to see Vigdis fight. She thinks to herself.
Mm-hmm.
Resolves to never be under Vigdis's boot.
Yeah. As Victus will look to him and resolve never to allow that to happen. However, that can be stopped. Sure. Oh well, problem for another day. If there's enough giants,
Yeah.
that's the way to solve the problem.
There are typically more giants.
For the 2 dragons, it is very noticeable that as soon as you basically began the ritual, she went to get her people.
Yeah.
She didn't linger for a long time in this random cave with the 2 of you. Not because she perhaps suspects she'll do anything, but she doesn't want to leave it up to chance.
Yeah. Want to be more comfortable.
She says she sees no negative in being careful.
It's how she's gotten as far as she has.
Oh yeah, no, she doesn't. She bruises some egos sometimes, but she doesn't mess around. She tries to not fight when she can't. Doesn't think she can win with overwhelming odds, and when she does fight, she's usually pretty much all in on winning.
The Missouri leader here says, "How many more cloud giants are there? A dozen or so that you know of in the spires?"
Dozen was how many there were at their greatest. No, I don't think there's a dozen. She looks to the giants. Depending on how things are, when last I... Well... And I do believe they have been fighting amongst themselves, so...
I think you cut out there, Malachi.
You cut out for like 8 seconds. It was great.
Fantastic.
When last I...
Yep.
When last I heard, that is years ago, there were 5 of them.
She says, all right.
Here, and I understand there's been some infighting, so...
The Missouri leader there bobs her head.
1 or 2, I'd say. Depending on which ones, that might be not so bad, or...
She says, I presume you intend to consolidate your new position here at the base of the peaks.
Not, yes. With this one done, I am no longer in danger. He was always the watcher, the one who rooted out problems in the insubordination down here. Mostly it has been various warlords of the southern tribes refusing to pay their taxes or tribute. They have usually been solved pretty openly. Or it has been stone giants. They come up with all sorts of strange heretical... She shakes her head. Who knows what they do? But they have been rooted out every now and then. Banished.
She says, if there's only so few cloud giants left, then this one must have a lot of value to it. Perhaps we could simply trade him for willingness.
That might indeed be possible. Though, that would almost be a shame, wouldn't it?
Why?
Well, it would make it much more difficult to take the peak.
Missouri bobs her head. Looks at Rumor there and says, our concerns are different than those of Victus. We want the dragon. Victus here once more.
I do believe I assisted in taking this one down. I don't know that... I have not spoken much to Veligneth. By reputation, he's somewhat erratic. I'm not sure that he would necessarily repay my assistance in freeing him. Thus, I would like to get something out of it. That's something we have right now. A weakened foe.
Missouri says, Victus, I recall just a short time ago something about allies and helping free the dragon whenever you took the peaks, but you don't intend on going up there anytime soon, no?
She gives a moment of thought. Says, I don't want to fight that fight before I know I can win it. I'm not in an immediate hurry. If it takes 5 years, so be it. The longer I have, the more I can consolidate my position here, and although it is more difficult with them still above, my own clan, at least, listens. It is a priority, but it is not something I want to die for. If you understand me. Now, I assume it's the same with you, otherwise you would have rushed up there much sooner.
I have been up there recently.
How did you find it?
The talk didn't quite go as fruitfully as I hoped. It left a sour expression, but not sour enough to not at least attempt a quick and rather bloodless exchange that would get Velignov back. That is my goal. Do not misunderstand my motivations. I can...
Yamizu rotates to look at Ririthir and says, based on your previous conversation with the Regent of the Cloud Giants, would you be bold enough to venture up there again for another conversation involving what has happened?
I would not go there myself, personally, no. I like to think the best of people and, well, creatures and all kinds of sentient life. But in the past, I will fully admit, it hasn't worked out well. I'm more careful now.
Do you believe that Regent of the Cloud Giants is capable of seeing current circumstances as they are? That she will perceive any change, that she will care?
I believe that if she thinks that a trade might be in her favor, which she very well might be, trading something stuck in a cage doing nothing for her tool to watch over the, from her perspective, underworld, so to speak, perhaps she might go for it. I will admit, it is an optimistic thought. It would, however, be nice to not have to escalate this conflict and simply be done with it.
The Muserade leader there's core tenet is no effort wasted. She looks from Ririthir back to Victus, says, I am willing to wait. You are right here at the base of the peaks. Whether circumstances change, and so your timetable must change, I do not know. But I have yours. She looks at Ririthir, and you, if you are capable of pursuing this route, do so. I do not know how you will go about it. I will not venture up there so swiftly. But I encourage you. Take the steps that you feel are necessary.
I suspect I have a way to get a message up there.
Yeah. She says, I have my own minions to tend to recover from these forays into hills I do not wish to keep. I will be leaving for the season, and may return should I receive news from... She looks from Victus to Ririthir, either of you, that circumstances have changed here.
Shall not.
Victus, it was good to watch you fight. I would enjoy watching you hunt sometime.
She nods, thinking that that's probably some sort of dragon greeting.
Mm-hmm.
You know, giant, or Millar is not part of the giant pantheon.
Yeah. Meanwhile,
she's not a particularly scholarly person.
Ririthir User leader theory is like, how does a giant even hunt? Does like an ogre just bring them food? Like,
Usually you send the hill giants to do it.
yeah. That's all this is. Just like send like a lower caste to go do something for
Really?
you.
She's a general. She fights. She kills things. She does war. That's what her caste does. They don't do a whole lot. Like they do war. They do smithing. Sort of war machines.
Like,
That's it.
I see the advantages, but we very clearly have exposed the disadvantages of that system in this campaign.
Now she's not one to micromanage anyone below her. That's sort of cloud giant work. So she doesn't know anything about really running anything, more than just telling people what to do. And then
that's very much a Valignith-like strategy.
Hill giants are pretty stupid and petty. They'll do their own thing most of the time. But you know, if they essentially they just pay a tribute in meat, and it's their job to find it, right? Well, stone giants are architects, tax collectors. They do all sort of the middle management, labor work. Yeah. Yeah.
Immediate leader theory then gives every indication that she's about to depart.
As I say, I don't think I will go up there by myself. And my giants are an ill fit. Each of them, here's the cloud giants, can fly. They have built their home high in the peaks, upon narrow pathways with no railings of sorts, where they, controlling the wind there, could easily blow anyone off. If we go there, it will be with climbing equipment, with slow-moving pistons, or simply we will try to demolish that part of the mountain. It will take time.
Your leader theory like stops moving, looks at Victus and says, "It almost sounds like you're asking for help."
I think she shakes her head slightly and says, "I suppose it does, doesn't it?"
She looks back at the wall where like the cloud giant was buried, and back at Victus says, "Huh.
I wouldn't have done that without you."
It may merely be an educated guess, but other than freeing Valignith, I believe that is where my own and Emmy's goals end. There may, however, be one other dragon who would very much enjoy an opportunity to go further than that. Except he's currently in captivity.
She nods.
She says, "Ribbonfair, if your plan negotiation doesn't work, then our only real way of getting Valignith is to resolve the cloud giants up there, and the only way for Vigdis to solidify her control over this region is to resolve the cloud giants up there."
If there's no other option, then there will be no hesitation from me, you can rest assured.
Then I will wait to see whether progress is made on your option. And, maybe Zara will leave.
Sure. Do a nod to that. She'll set about probably bringing some of her fire giants further into the caves here to root out whatever problems might come from that side.
I'll go ahead and delete my token from this map. I see what stats have changed. 0.5, and then 12. Okay.
Fight has been progressed.
Alright. Romanfair does think he has a way to send a message up there. He's not a mage, so he doesn't have the very convenient sending spell. Which would be excellent, since he does know the recipient, or has at least seen her. But he is a druid, which means he can do druidic things, such as recruiting an animal messenger. It is another ritual, but it's a level 1 ritual, so I'm just sort of assuming that that's alright to have known.
Yeah.
It's very low level magic.
Animal messenger.
So he would not waste any time and go catch a sparrow or something, some sort of bird that he is aware that can fly that high.
And hopefully can survive the winds.
Sounds like a Himalayan goose.
A goose, yeah. The messenger goose.
Mm-hmm.
And then, let's see, 25 words.
Once the ritual is complete, you whisper a message of up to 25 words to the animal and name a recipient and a location. The animal bounds off toward the location in search of the recipient, avoiding danger along its path. Upon finding the recipient, the animal approaches until adjacent, and then the whisper comes from the animal's mouth. Once that message is delivered, the influence ends, and the animal reverts to its natural behavior. Your nature check determines how long the animal is affected by the ritual. From 6 hours up to 24, depending on how well you do.
You probably need a high check, but I don't think you can fail it given the level of the ritual. Be surprised. I can't believe how well that fight went for you.
Well,
I think Revanfear didn't even have to be there. I'm almost certain.
I mean, it could have gone different, of course, but it just so happens that my character really specializes in single target, go to hell. That's what she does. She's not just a defender, she's a defender controller. And the poor archer who came down there to the surface, he is much like Ophis Derelix, who never wanted to get close to someone, and that one time. Well, it took it one time.
Alright. Well, let's roll the check first. I've got 23 words, which will do.
Alright.
Might be...
At the end.
Ha 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 ha.
Ha ha.
If it's just a lot of ha's, does it count as a word? Or is it just syllables?
Honk the goose.
Oh no. Alright. I think whatever I roll should be high enough. 30, that means 18 hours.
The goose has 18 hours to get up there and find, presumably,
As long as you don't do it at the Dragon Fane.
No.
You can do a little bit closer, you know.
Yeah. Close enough to that he thinks that it's plausible that the bird makes it up there. It would be awkward if it just never gets there.
Yeah.
Maybe he can just
by birds and they just never make it.
Maybe he can just catch 10 geese.
Just do it from over here so they don't fly past. You know, they try to avoid thunderbirds and stuff.
Yeah. It would be funny if a thunderbird just swooped down and you're I never got a reply to my message. Huh. Well,
just thunders it down into the ground.
Poor goose. Talk about overkill.
See, that's the thing that cloud giants don't want to deal with. They have 2 of those things circling the top of the peaks. They don't want to go up there.
Alright. The words will then be very simply... Oh, I can't use /e. Okay. Will then be this.
That's right.
Very straightforward. However, she can... she will need to find a way to respond, because that is not part of this ritual. But I'm sure a resourceful cloud giant will find a way.
She'll send a message down at the base of the peak, and the fire giants will delete it.
I mean, the clearest message would be Villagers being free, which is a good enough response.
Yeah, let's see here. How I could...
I wasn't kidding, by the way. You might want to lurk down at the base of the peak, because if a message is sent through that through the base of the peak, the fire giants like just might throw it away.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Rubenfear isn't gonna go home and like sleep in the Dragon Fane while this is going on.
I just wanted to point that out, that Victus might be like, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is something that Rubenfear is aware of. She has an interest in Valignif staying up there as motivation for us. That much is clear.
All right. Yeah, you will get a message then if you do intercept it. That doesn't take too long to be delivered.
Sure.
Apparently, some orc had it, but it will say, "Release the Watcher. For few could do his function. We have silver enough for many more words than you have given us. Come join us, and we will allow you to escort the little red home."
All right. Well, the Cloud Giants have chosen. If they want to be so duplicitous and lure Rubenfear up there, he's not going to fall for that.
No. He doesn't trust their word.
No.
Even though they say they have a lot more than a silver to put on it.
Well, they can say a lot of things. It's actions that speak.
Yeah, they can.
Actions speak louder than words.
Yeah, it's true.
It'd be great if Rubenfear if I could win back up there and get alone, like, oh, well, I'm convinced.
No. In the past, perhaps, when he was a young silver, before he got burned and plagued.
He would have trusted them. Gone up there. So that Emissary could have a message. We have two. Come talk terms with us.
She just threw her claws up, like, really?
How? Why?
Well, I guess I gotta go up there. Then we're sick of drinks.
And we promise you shall all be reunited. Yeah. that's some shit next time. Gary comes back and it's like, so we're Cicatrix. These are the two temporary characters.
Oh, shit.
It's now you and two Wyverns.
Yeah.
That's all they could scrape.
Yeah. No wonder the Cloud Giants are like, don't care about anything. They have it so easy.
Who knows what their actual intentions are if Rubenfear were to show up. But, yeah. They've shown themselves to be very good with their word in the past. The Regent, who we spoke to, being the one who, of course, is the one sending messages.
It's true.
Yeah, I think after receiving that message...
They could have imprisoned him the first time. They let him go.
Yeah. After receiving that message, Rubenfear is gonna go meet Victus, and without so many words say that they did not accept the deal. Prepare for war, basically.
To which she will get like a slight deadpan look that says, "What do you think?" Like, she feels like she is at war, actively, sort of happening right now.
Well, I was suggesting that you will have my help because the deal did not go through, which should be a cause for celebration, should it not?
Yeah, she'll not say, "Well, that's." And she'll pause for a moment and says, "I'm not going to celebrate your efforts not going the way you wanted them to. However, I suppose, from my perspective, having your assistance is greatly useful, as I cannot fly. Could I fly, I think that would change a whole lot about my perspective on a lot of things. I cannot. And so, going to the top of these mountains is... She's hand in air. A death sentence.
That, I suppose that
I
is
can
fair
get
enough.
to the Great Stair. The Great Stair, we can get to it. We can enter the first room of their home. But moving on to the walkways would be... She shakes her head. Ideally, we will begin filling that first room with rocks and whatnot, but we can't see anything to hit, and we'll have to find a solution. I don't have one at present. Having your help certainly will be useful. Maybe you can remove the fog or something.
Certainly worth an attempt.
It would be one of the problems.
Very well. If the fact that I will be assisting you is simply acknowledged, then I suppose that'll be that.
It is good. It is excellent. But I don't know exactly how we can do this. Unless you feel you can do it by yourself, but I figure then you wouldn't come talk to me. Gather our allies, see what we can make up, and attack. I just fear that my allies will be nigh useless, except for you. I don't have any flying friends beyond the two of you.
Either way, I respect your competence and expect that you show proper respect for mine. That is all I'm saying.
Oh yeah, she nods.
Good.
To be honest, I did not expect it to go well for you. The meeting, I expected that if you showed up, you would most likely not show up down here again.
There's a difference between being polite and being foolish, and I'd like to think that I've not crossed that boundary in recent times.
That is certainly evident.
I will go meet with Emmy.
Susan nods. I will be here when you need me. she looks at like a bunch of hill giants just like punching each other probably, while Fire Giant looks on, bemused. Clearly, she's actually finding a little bit of discomfort in the role of an administrator that she's sort of having to take on herself. Though it helps that she doesn't really tell anyone to do anything too complicated.
Yeah, as Romanfear will make his way towards Emmy's home, thinking along the way that, well, he expected a bit more fanfare about his declaration that he was in fact gonna help victors, because clearly a silver dragon like agreeing to help you, that's a momentous occasion that should be celebrated, but apparently in this day and age it's just acknowledged.
Yeah.
It's really a sad state of the world.
Just starving humans, it would be a grand thing.
As for Emmy's early leaders here, she just intends to sleep and recover the rest of the fall and winter with her minions, who she has worked quite a bit. It's time for them to have a break. A siesta. A season-long siesta.
The word will certainly go out amongst your minions, certainly, that they've heard that the hierarchy is looking for ways to make giants fly. Though, that seems a difficult proposition.
Just become a cloud giant.
She wouldn't if she could.
If you kill enough above you, surely that means that the previous casts have to rise, and so the fire giants become the new cloud giant. That's how that works.
Certainly how it usually works, though. I think by definition they're supposed to go find one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which is very unsatisfying. But
yeah, well, I don't think I'm going out of my way to help the fire giants solve the problem how to fly, because I don't want flying fire giants around here.
yeah, but they really, she thought about it for a moment. And, yeah, like flying boots or something that would be
Mm-hmm.
that'd be very helpful going forward. Yeah.
Try to imagine like a pair of flying boots large enough to fit a flying giant.
It's just not a thing that anyone made.
Yeah. You have to be custom ordered.
Some sort of need like a group of wizards to cast fly.
What about a really large trebuchet?
A trebuchet powerful enough to support the weight of a fire giant? Okay.
Yeah, and then just shoot him up the mountain, give them parachutes, and have
Put hill giants in the trebuchets. I mean,
yeah. Hill giant paratroopers.
A parachute strong enough to support the weight of the giant.
Okay. Catapult.
You've gone too far.
Madness.
Yeah, well, as it turns out, I don't have giant-sized flying boots in my arsenal, nor do I think any of my contacts can help with that.
Yeah, it's not really there's not really a great chance, but the terrain is simply very unfavorable up there.
It's almost as if it were by design.
Yeah, it's true. Which leads us on to perhaps some turns of our
Like,
rain year.
Yeah. The best suggestion I would have for them is if they tunnel out, if they destroy the entire, mountain beneath the peak, surely the peak has to fall.
Just cave in the whole thing, yeah.
Yeah.
At some point.
That's what I've been suggesting for most of our problems, that I feel like at some point it will be relevant.
Like, if you just mine out everything, or mine out just enough for it to topple, like a tree, you bring the cloud giants to you. All right, rain year.
Woo! Yes. We might look aside from Westgate here until
That makes sense.
So nothing, just so it doesn't progress too much without hearing.
Eric comes back. Yeah, Westgate is gone. So
Decided.
It makes sense that it's currently deadlocked right now due to the change of power from the fire knives to the night masks.
That's it. The first movers is the Harpers, who have been given another thing they're interested in, which is rooting out this cult for good. They don't like any of this. So they'll make the commission to free Elversalt and make Elversalt a good city that can be happy and positive and not have any Cult of the Dragon people. Cult of the Dragon is evil, irrevocably so. Like, it's hard to deny. And yeah. Now, the Harpers don't do direct attacks, really. It's not their way of doing it. They could do sort of around attacks, but not really good at that either, because they don't want to hurt people sort of collaterally. They don't poison wells, So how do we actually do this? We make the city go against them, and then we take care of removing the leaders. So fate. First thing, of course, is to espionage. Get in there and take control of the situation. Just get Elversalt to not just accept the current status quo. Cult of the Dragon, of course, will want to oppose that. That's absolutely not what they want. But as we all know, the Harbors are really good at what they do. Can the Colt stop that? I mean, they gotta try though. It's just
Yeah.
not. No, that's
These
even
fucking Harpers.
That's bad. They pull their connections, but I find the Harbor's already been there.
Fucking hero adventurers. Ah.
They will be influenced by Harpers. With that said, I think the Harper will begin to right now. The Elvisalt judge system and such is all under control of the Colored Dragon, so they can't really play fair. But they're chaotic. They don't really care about playing fair particularly. They're happy to just begin taking care of things. Mm-hmm. Unconventional warfare. Let's see how we can actually kill some of these cultists. Because raiding a cultist dungeon is perfectly fine. Assassinate leaders. Yes, that's also. Influence and might, then. Less good, but the idea here will be to kill the Cult of Dragon's influence. Try to get that down. Without that, they probably can't do too much.
They might be targeting like corrupt judges and what have you, as like
Get them out of the. Take them out, really. So this will be attack. That is a bad roll, but might succeed. They will certainly defend. And they successfully defend. Managed to avoid that.
the judges were prepared.
Drawing on their sovereignty, they're just loyal. They're cult.
I'd like to think the Harpers got some maybe blackmail equivalent on one of the judges, but it turns out that sort of behavior is actually now accepted in Eversold.
Yeah.
Yeah, recently changed the law to counteract what the Harpers tried to do.
And they succeeded the second time in striking at their influence. Like to permanently do something here, but that's difficult. The Cold Dragon hasn't actually done anything, so they haven't expended any of their own power.
Right. And the Harpers are acting alone as a singular action.
But that's what they're used to, kind of. So
Yeah.
1-1. Okay, it's a weak one. Oh, that won't do. Yes. Oh, they're trying. Problem is that the Cult of the Dragon right now has pretty good sovereignty, so they can sort of help offset any damages they take. Should they keep going? I feel like the Harpers here, they would. They don't take this laying down. They're here for good cause. Let's see it. No. Okay, well. That
Well,
we'll have to draw on other things to get this to work. Let's see here. They will try to use their treasury to, if nothing else, pay some people, bribe some people, so they can get some influence back here. Because this is not. This doesn't. They have some money though. Ooh, look at so much money to spend.
all right.
Mm-hmm.
They sure do.
Let's also buy some more bodyguards and such, just to get ready to actually stop the cult from doing bad things. Yes. Okay. Heal some of that, a little bit of that damage, spread out their abilities. Ready. That was not so functional, but if nothing else, it's a statement of intent, right?
Yeah.
Apartment's good. Those guys Come here. I'll mark those with a little. Where? So let's see which ones we've skipped because they're in. These guys. All right. Nathlan. Nathlan wants to recover the Colton Bany. Now, to do that, they will have to actually spend their own sort of strength to do it. They don't have a lot of everything, so they can only give so much, but they've taken the first steps. They will continue to work on it. Let's see if they can manage it. No, that's a no. It's a yes. Okay.
Can I sabotage that?
Sure. Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah. As
Currently,
yeah.
they're using influence and sovereignty to try to essentially gather people, gather strength, collecting up whatever support might be in the Gulfmere, out here still, on the plains. Trying to collect people who are not them, but that they can gather up and
Makes sense. I would countermand that in the same way. Nathlin has no love. They're isolationists. Like you should stay up here and not travel down there in the south.
Mm-hmm.
Do that. Influence and sovereignty. Give that a spin. That's a 7 dice. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Counteract it.
They don't even know that I did it.
They try, and they don't learn that you did. Yeah. It is currently not fruitful. I think in the current situation, how important is it? They don't want to weaken themselves further. They just have very bad influence, it turns out. Being isolationists. So for now, they will probably just hold back on that. They might have to do a festival of nationalism or something to increase their sovereignty. We should
Deduct my influence by 1.
Yeah, for now they'll Blue Sun. Oh. They've been just hanging out here. This is kind of becoming a bad place to be. They've been trying to invest in this town, but it's not really giving them anything, and things are much more exciting elsewhere. They are currently on the Comerian payroll as well, being supported, but that's probably not going to last with the Harpers here, because they are, they're people smugglers, so I think they're going to leave.
Right.
Now, they could go to Erebor. That's not really a place. That's no opportunities there. They go to Sembia, Tessir. No. They know where they gotta go. So that's where it's at. Come over here and begin getting into that town. City of Westgate currently has no... It'll just heal its strength, but it has no ruler right now. It's just protecting against outside forces. Tarm will get to act. Basilisk. Oh, that's why. Just getting a little lag here because of the map tools auto-saving. Good. Now we have Dion's host. Is there anything he wants to do? I don't think so. He's doing pretty well. I think what he will try to do, if anything, is to raise his... is to have a great hunt and try to raise his sovereignty. It's kind of not where he wants it to be, and they've won. They have their land here. They need to begin. We can feel it. Now he needs to do territory and treasury. If he can take good use of this land. Yes.
He does it.
There's a narrow chance, but he is happy with it.
A great hunt indeed. The centaurs have it better than ever.
He'll begin to they begin to feel at home here. Even with the tributes to the Winter Court and such, it's good times. Oh, you're good. Turish, their settlements in the Gulf Mare are doing fine. So is their trade. They're poor. They're just gonna hang out, doing Turish things. They want to keep doing what they're doing. Their exploration of darkness. Of these mysterious things that someone did who stayed in Nathlan for a while. Now, Nathlan's not super happy with them. They've tried to do this before. Nathlan didn't. Nathlan did spend a little bit of their power, though, so maybe they can get access to some good things from them. Maybe. Maybe indeed. Yes. This means that they are allowed in and actually can begin to really, really work here. Nathlan did try to stop them, so we'll deduct a little bit from the territory to pay for that defense. And then the Red Wizards will try to learn. That's a no. That's a yes. More than 4, so that's a no. Okay, well, they got in, but now they haven't advanced their.
I'm one.
They learned only a tiny bit, and it didn't actually help them.
Well, it's like it's hard when you also don't care that deeply.
It's true.
That's super motivated. There's a lot of other cool things going on. That I'm
Right, like these assholes down here, like we'll live for so long and we're so powerful. Like,
why do I care? Probably not even here. Like, why would you be here?
yeah, some others' problem, not mine.
No, but I'm looking through it
Yeah,
because I have to.
yeah,
Otherwise, my phylactery gets squashed. I'm killed. So
yeah, I'm totally on the case. Don't you worry, Zastam.
we have the Emerald Enclave. Well, currently they're in a balance, so they will just do balance stuff, which is keeping the spell plague from growing from Star Mantle. Good thing they have mastered it in the past, so they can keep it down. Eventually, they'll probably manage to clean it up too, but for now, it's gonna. The Spirehorn tribe still would like to grow, but after the smugglers were absorbed by the Cicatrix, there's very little for them to grow at.
Right. For the past 2 turns that you've had them like look around and see no opportunities.
Yeah. I mean, they don't know about Westgate. so they can't go there.
Goes to Westgate.
They don't really know about much of anything. I think I will have them try to gather information. Tell us what's going on in the surrounding land. What is anything?
I can't help but imagine a lizard in a trench coat just walking through a city.
Yeah. I mean, they failed.
It's not working.
Oh yeah, they learned something. They learned about local stuff. They know about the hamlet down here. They know about this stuff. I think they learned what else is by the river. Maybe they swim up the river or something, sneak past the Temple of Ogma, and maybe they noticed that Redwater is over there, a little settlement. That might be something for them in the future, but for now they're exactly exhausted. They used all their power to try to learn about it. So, they are perhaps the smallest faction around. Haven't really had the chance to grow into it yet. These guys are there. Thunderhome. Well.
When last
we saw them, they backstabbed the Red Banner host. Boy, would they like to do that again. But have it actually work. I mean, they're not going to pay them anymore, certainly. In fact, I think they might try to influence the Red Banner host to attack them. Because that would make them... They're better at defending.
Do they actually need to influence the Red Banner host to do that? Or is that like the Red Banner host's current default stance?
Well, we don't know what the Red Banner host will do.
I figure because they just got attacked by Thunderhome at the end of last year, and they're still infiltrated by the hierarchy.
Yeah.
That's why I asked.
Yeah, that's probably a difficult thing for them to still be infiltrated. I don't think they'll still be infiltrated. There's no more orders coming. I'm gonna say the Thunderhome's gonna try, and I'm gonna give him a bonus die for having actually sort of just declared war. No, they don't do it with that. Well, another roll maybe. Yes. I don't think they're gonna defend against that. I think they're okay with it. Because they want to attack them and kill them. Just make sure their asset is in use.
Be careful what you ask for.
They're good at defending against open or counterattacking as well. They don't do that. So, ooh, okay, that's rough. No, they gotta actually defend though. Well, I mean, they defend against one of them.
Yeah.
And, yeah. As I remember it, that means that they actually get punched in the snout. Not only that, but the Red Banner host will spend a turn here gathering power from their territories, trying to raise up more outlying clans. Which they will do. Dome will try to buy mercenaries at that point. Need people to fight.
The arms race.
You know, it's... Red would like to conquer Thunderhome, you know? Why not? Why not? That's what they do. That's not what you do. Okay, that's bad. Probably rebellion internally before they try again. Striking out. Striking out. There we go.
The number of the beast and the Red Banner host.
We'll counterattack that. No, wait, that's stupid. They will not counterattack. They will defend, not counterattack.
Counterattack the swift attack.
That'd be a terrible mistake. Well, I mean, you know, they have no dice. It's just...
There you go.
Still can't do it.
Yeah, I can only remove one of the sixes.
Should have maybe just not defended there, but... Well, now they're all wounded, and the Red Banner host is kind of, like, tired. Do any of them really want to continue? Not really. They both kind of want the other person to attack. Which I guess means that they don't. I think they might, like, wander up and occupy the road here. Just stop any caravans from going to Thunderhome.
Makes sense.
You know, eat from them.
Yeah, since
So
Thunderhome
be afraid.
Since Thunderhome voluntarily like surrendered like the countryside, that means Red Banner host gets the road.
Oh yeah. The dwarfs are not happy with how that turned out. Rivers doing that thing. Host we've done. Cult of the Dragon. Have to strike back on these harbors. But how? If Rimenthir got a message at the Dragon Fane, the Cult of the Dragon wants help killing harbors. Feel about that, you know? Just they'll take weapons, men, a dragon coming to burn them all. That'd be glorious, but you know,
I mean, Romanfield's mission here is to keep the status quo, which he supposes includes allies, so offering supplies for them to fight back seems almost reasonable, even if he does.
Man, that is such a really based on how you've roleplayed Rearmithir thus far, just earlier this session with him and his comfort level, him thinking this is acceptable.
I mean, if it were for defense purposes, he'd go for it, but I think the Golden Dragon is attacking in this case, so it's very borderline. But I think Romanfir will say that there's it's too much effort going south, unfortunately, that he cannot assist.
Well,
this is at least more sensible than attacking Cormier, which is a small silver lining.
They will try to police against the harbors. They'll try to arrest them and put them in jail.
You know, that's fair. That's fair. That's good.
First thing they'll do is try to recruit some more brigands and mercenaries and stuff. Yes, and have a little more punching power because they actually don't have a lot of punching. To police this place, they would need. Well, let's see if that goes well for them. It does. Yeah. Horrors will try to stop that. They don't want to be. They don't want to put in prison. The cultist prison seems like a bad time. But they fail. Which means that a couple of harbors are arrested. Probably in some dumb trespassing thing or something. Beyond that, they actually own Elversalt currently. They run this city. So until that changes, they're going to try to do it with the city too. Pushing the city to act. Now I will have them have to do, because the city was influenced, I'll have to do a... I don't remember what they succeeded with there, but I'll have them do their own influence roll. If they can succeed, they can manage to push the city to actually get these guys to go.
It suddenly turned very quiet. Manikai is still rolling though.
Oh, did I cut out? Maybe
I think so. There was a minute of quiet.
Okay, well, no. Gold Dragon is trying to influence the city to go arrest the harbors. Because the harbors are bad.
Okay.
And they cannot convince them to do it. Yes, they can. Which means the city will try to do so. Elversalt City is actually pretty strong, so I think the harbors will have to... Man. They get into dangerous territory themselves. I think they'll accept and retreat over here.
Way to go, Harpers.
It went too bad. They need allies to deal with that. Fighting both the Cauldron Dragon and the city itself is just... it's too much for them.
But where will they get allies from?
Bring up the Red Banner host. No. They look to Erebor over here. These guys are good guys. They would like to have other good guys be around here, and maybe they could talk to the Unicorn Lords there to hear if they're up for something. That seems like a thing to do. They expected that to go differently.
I've got an action here.
Oh, okay, sure.
I'd like to attempt against the city of Elversalt that's been influenced by Harpers.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to... The city guard is up and about, and they're arresting suspected Harpers and throwing them in prison.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to see if I could like misdirect the city of Elversalt to like start like arresting members of the Cult of the Dragon and suspecting them of being harpers.
All right.
Perhaps.
Yeah.
Perhaps. Yeah. Yeah. That sounds like an espionage. So I'm trying to misdirect the city.
Mhm.
See here. According to my guide, that tells me this is influence and treasure.
Sounds right.
I will utilize my territory and sovereignty to squeeze the trade road for money. Territory.
Bribe a couple people.
Yeah. Yeah, I squeeze the trade road for money. Gets done.
Oh yeah. Quickly and efficiently.
Bam.
Many merchant tears are cried.
It's for their own good, damn it.
The
Okay.
dragon will not want that to happen. But we'll see if you succeed. They need to defend.
Treasure influence. Yeah, influence of treasure. It'll be 5 dice. I'm gonna go ahead and kick in an assist, helping personally. That'll be 6. Pair of 6s.
Try to defend. Would fail. All right. Yeah.
Go ahead and subtract that money.
They. I guess that means that they will try to police the Cold Dragon too. Get in this jail. Which the Cold Dragon that does. Because they can't really. Yeah.
Good work, City of Elver.
Some cultists thrown in prison as conspirators against the peace. Who probably yell and swear and are very angry. You know, they would never betray anyone. But the cult's evil. It's not like anyone really cares about them. So
Yeah.
they get to stay in jail.
Good. That's the story I want to tell. The Harpers don't have to be alone.
Yeah. Someone helped. what an unlikely ally in that respect. The wasted wheat. No, Comir's not done anything with them. They're just hanging out. Down here, General Victus will just begin slowly healing up after trying to absorb these guys. Maybe preparing to think about. Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, that's basically it, really, of how to get up there. But beyond that, also,
Her what must be atrocious sovereignty.
yes, absolutely. So that would be an attempt to increase it. I think there is enough justification in what she has done here to attempt to increase it, but we'll see if it succeeds or not.
Territory and treasure.
She does not have her full stats for this place. However, that is enough. She can increase her sovereignty by 1 point. Essentially gathering people up, beginning to orchestrate them, be seen, marching around, maybe even like collect some taxes.
They're used to taking orders from giants.
Yeah, like trying to get some normalcy into the whole situation. Maybe many of them can just forget what's even happened. They can pretend there's someone above her if they want. It's not really their place to judge, but more so also probably beginning to try to make them identify with the idea of a fire giant-led hierarchy. Saying that giants are traitors and so forth. They are an affront to the gods. Vorkorp would never have supported them had he known. Which is, of course, absolutely not true. But
They don't have to know.
You got to tell some lies, you know?
Yeah, I know.
Beyond that, she will not pursue anything else. That's pretty much. She will. I will mark this. Just so I'll send some hill giants to go occupy the fort here. Because that's a place they can live and doesn't really have value for anyone else anymore. Just destroyed. All right. That brings us to the High Creek itself. It currently is in civil unrest position. It doesn't have any faction, so can't do anything. It's been absorbed. Which leads us to the last of the bunch here, which is the two recently added factions to this board. Before they existed, but they never did anything relevant to us. That is the People of the Black Blood and the Fellowship of the Purple Staff. Here. And they are somewhat in conflict, though, immediately, mostly because the Fellowship of the Purple Staff will attempt to make ventures to secure the forest, essentially attempt policing this size of the. They'll do so with might and sovereignty, which is something they're good at. Establishing peace, prosperity, while a different force will try to stop them. And not succeed. They've got that going on there. Nothing to worry. All right. That brought us quickly through every. Where's Comir? Did I go through skip Comir? Where's up here?
You did skip Fort Mir, yeah.
I glazed over them due to the Westgate situation. Because Comir needs to do things. They have a lot of things they want to do. Comir wants to pay people in Westgate to fight for them. They're involved in that whole mess. But I think we'll handle the stuff they do in relation to that at next session, probably. Just to not confuse myself about who has gone and who hasn't. So we'll do Comir's actions that are not involved directly with it. Because they see Elversalt, and they see that as a problem. The whole, let's attack Comir as an uncomfortable situation.
They absolutely did do that.
And they will not have it. So beyond being involved in Westgate, they will also want to be involved in Elversalt. They have influence in Proscure. It's not a lot, but it is some. And using that, they will try to get the city. No, they don't have a direct route. They have control of neither Westgate nor Tizir, so their strength in acting on the other side of the sea here is halved. That said, the Blue Sun Guild has moved out of the ruins here of Ilpor. And if you can't capture a port city, maybe you build one. So that's what they'll try to do. They'll try to establish themselves, send an expedition over there. See if they can do it at half strength. Okay, that took more resources than they had hoped. But we can find a tiny Comir. Where is tiny Comir?
It's baby Cormir.
Yeah, a little tiny one, like the Thayans have. Little expedition. They can sit over here because there's a difference between being the actual throne and being an expeditionary force, right? So like a little version. Hang out here. In expedition. sent here with the purpose of establishing a position that can ideally allow them to strike at Elversol. That is not or to as they would say, right, rid Elversol of this wicked rulership that has essentially declared war upon them. That's how they see it. Let's come here an expedition.
Damn you, phone.
Lovely stats. Not great, but not terrible. Right. And that is something to spend their force on. Of course, that expedition is not really ready to act yet. They just get to do. Good. Beyond that, they want to strengthen the waste wheat. That's something else they have going on. They will have to do that. At least that's on their own continent. No. Okay, there we go. Harsh. But that's how it goes. Now they need to. Yeah. Yeah. Is there anything any of you two wish to pursue?
I don't think so.
Okay. That's fair. Go reasonably spend some time patrolling the seas. Not their best, but there we go. Setting out some boats to keep an eye on people. Make sure no one's pirating. Though right now all of the pirates are kind of embroiled in something else.
Where was Simbi on initiative, Manikai?
Sembia are after Cormier.
Hmm.
They do wish to act, but they're mostly giving money to people.
Okay.
So right now they're hanging out. Now, is there any particular reason you ask? Is there?
I was really noting because, like, you said you had reached the end of like the initiative tracker, and I hadn't heard Symbia.
Yeah, I marked them as yellow because they're heavily involved in Westgate at the moment.
Okay, got it.
So I imagine we'll take them along with the others. They're basically going to dump a bunch of money in that. They don't really want to dump money in the Cult of the Dragon right now. That could change given this Comerian expedition. That seems like a great way to hire, maybe even get the Red Banner host in on that. Who knows? They could end up somewhere in the north somehow. With Symbian money suddenly flowing in.
That'd be some shit.
I could see it. Not now. They would need to not be super exhausted from fighting dwarves, ideally. Otherwise, it's not really worth it for Symbia to invest in them. But they probably also haven't really heard of them before now.
Yeah.
They're pretty far away. Same with the expedition, really. They haven't learned about it before next year, essentially. They're not on there. Beyond that, of course, they're fighting their proxy war with Cormier already in the north of here in the Dale lands. So sort of passive aggressive, sending troops back and forth to besiege tiny city states who didn't ask for this. Yeah. And then I have to remember, because that means we're basically reaching the end. I will clear up one of these. Cormier no longer really cares about these dragons. No longer really concerned. They have other concerns like Sembian influence in Tazir, the Guild-worn Westgate, and stuff happening in Elversalt. Yeah, that's related to a dragon, but no dragon's actually shown up.
Yeah. I can't blame them for wanting to take action against another like town attacking like one of their towns.
Mm-hmm. Their capital. They sailed in and failed horribly, but still, that's a bold move.
It happened, yeah.
self-destructive, maybe even.
Hmm.
Yeah. Was there any interest in trying to interrogate the giant you have captured, or?
It sounds like, based on the description of the ritual, that's impossible without like freeing him, which I suppose we could do, but then like the ritual would have to be done again, all 1,600 gold pieces of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have the option at any point. The ritual basically means that he's there indefinitely and is pretty well protected, so that's pretty good.
I certainly would have loved to question him, but it sounds like questioning him involves canceling the ritual, and then we have to figure out what we're gonna do with him.
I mean, if you have a series of useful questions that you definitely want answered, then we can redo the ritual, no problem. Like, it's a bit of money, but I think it would be worth it.
So, like, the questions that would be directed towards the cloud giant, which I don't have anything like written down. Like, she would basically just be like an array of like we have like concerns as non-cloud giants heading up there. Rearmanthier knows like some concept of like layout, but apparently for like non-flyers to get up there, there's like a whole like bevy of like tests and shit in like prepared rooms. Sounds like it'd be almost more beneficial for like the fire giants than it would be us to do like the Q&A. If there were questions, that would probably be about the cage, which was made by someone who no longer exists.
The giants believe they can get to the tricky part, which is the stairs with all the clouds.
Forget it. Just leave them there.
Yeah, that's that was my thought as well. Like, I just couldn't think of any questions I would expect him to have the answer to. Like, how would a non-cloud giant get past all the traps? Well, he might not. He probably won't know because he doesn't have to worry about them.
Like, I don't know the fulcrum by which I could threaten that cloud giant. Yeah.
Yeah. Also that.
Like, I'll kill you, and the cloud giant's like, okay.
Yeah.
Like, well, shit.
Leverage.
Yeah. It's like when we tried to like Q&A like Lolog the Butcher. But like was like, okay.
He would like things to work out, but he certainly had his hard limits on what he could do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right.
Chief's faction not going to take any actions at all. My faction done a few actions. Looking around the rest of the things. I would like to take action against the land sort of south of what I control. So I go like here for like the grasslands, and then like as like the plains like begin, like that's where like my control starts. I suppose what I want to do is begin to like I want to have the were-rats work on poisoning the earth down there, making so that it's unsuitable for habitation.
So basically the green here is where you find a lot of like grass, small forests and hills and whatnot. While the land down here is mostly just long like stretches of prairie, right? It's like a rocky ground with thin yellowed grass sticking out here and there. So it isn't like a place where civilized people would really live by themselves. It's mostly nomadic creatures that take place. Now, poisoning the ground can still happen. I'm just saying that there isn't a lot of creatures there at the moment that would be impacted.
Yeah, at the moment, I think what I had in mind before this session was thinking of Mike Dragon has concerns about any individuals like exerting power south of her, which includes Naflan, and if like prairie creatures are going to be gathered by Nathlin potentially to fight Malar worshippers once more, which includes her. She wants to put it into that, or perhaps provide some sort of distraction to buy her time before she has to deal with that stuff. To that end, creating a sort of a natural ailment there that, would bring cause or concern, or if the area down there is incapable of sustaining the nomadic life that creatures down there would live, then maybe Nathlin will have a harder time raising a force down there of people. So if the animals are diseased and start transmitting that disease to others, and then there's far fewer animals down there to hunt and eat, then centaurs and what have you might not be able to congregate in Wemmicks. I think that's the mindset.
Sure. The plains are large, but certainly the area here basically is what we're talking about.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
General space. I could see something like that happening. Now, I would ask you first then to do a policing, just to take possession, perhaps.
That makes sense. Yeah.
So you can actually work on it, and probably an unconventional warfare to just attack the land itself.
What is policing?
Policing is might and sovereignty.
Okay.
It is to resist opposing force. There might be a small pack of centaurs or something that lives there, or whatever locals might exist that are like, don't poison our land. We don't like that.
She'll involve herself directly. Yeah, I think so. I think Nathlin pretty much gave her the fucking middle finger, so I think she involved herself directly. I don't think there is any disguising what Nathlin's intents are. So no, she involves herself directly.
Ruled by a follower of Nabanian.
Yeah, there's no question that she'd go
All
directly.
the people in Nathlin are not followers. A large contingent, though, are primarily amongst their non-human inhabitants.
I'll just say this: if only the water flowed this way instead of this way.
I thought about that too. I was like, yeah, okay, you could piss off Diane quite a bit if you begin poison.
Yeah, we go ahead and I'll spend sovereignty and treasury in an attempt to raise might. So I draw up some mercenaries.
Yeah.
Is my temporary asset versus Nobania or Nathlin gone because the druids went back to the forest? Just out of curiosity.
No, I mean, given that we work here on a year scale, if you need help to act against Nabanian, you can probably just tell them.
Yeah. Sounds like there's someone down there that worships Nobanian. Gotta take that parcel of territory from them.
Yeah.
See if I can draw some druidic assistance.
Yeah. Nabanian certainly is in a powerful position.
Okay, let's go ahead and treasury and sovereignty. So that, and I get a +2 dice for that to raise my might by 1. That gets raised. We'll do that again.
Boy.
It's raised again. Sovereignty will subtract that by 2 and raise might by 2, as the Werets are basically just the faction is bloated now with other worshippers of Malar that have come in to lay down the hammer.
All sort of people who are here temporarily to do things, but it clogs up the system.
Yeah, clogs up the system. All right. Those might and what? I'm sorry, I forgot. For policing.
Might and sovereignty.
Might and sovereignty. Yep, the sovereignty I just lowered. Yes!
Whoa.
It'll be 7 dice then with me contributing. All right, double 6s for policing.
Here.
And I'll lower might by 1.
A policing action, and now if you do an unconventional warfare to poison the land. Yeah.
I can do an unconventional warfare.
Which I'll just have them act against probably next time they try to raise up the post.
Yeah. A might plus influence roll with a +2 bonus because of my unconventional warfare strategy.
Whereas, you're good at that, turns out.
It's 3 might, 2 influence. That's 5 dice. +2 from the unconventional warfare. That's 7 dice. And I'm acting directly. That's 8 dice. Pair of 6s.
Mhm.
Then a pair of 2s with a wink. We totally didn't do it.
Seeing whereabouts there and Millar followers, I think I'm gonna have Nathland resisted. Actually reflecting like a sphinx or something looking over the river and taking interest.
Mm-hmm.
They will try to resist with their roll here. Pair of 6s will mean that either you can fail and keep it hidden or succeed. And
I think I'll succeed.
okay. You'll succeed.
Can I hunt that Sphinx? Mom, can I hunt that Sphinx? Stupid Sphinx.
It makes it more difficult
Mm-hmm.
as such a creature begins to interfere, but it cannot stop you from making the place poisoned and sick. Though certainly you now know that they're aware of the problem and probably will try to solve it. As maybe they sent like a couple of Wimics over there who get killed. That basically reflects their expenditure of might here.
Go ahead and subtract influence by another 1. Well, I succeeded.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to do that action again.
Okay.
Yeah. As like the Sphinx caused momentary sabotage, and Emizure is like, no, this isn't good enough. No, we're going harder on this.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll perform the same action.
I'm gonna say you get a one boost die here to reflect that you've already partially done it. Like you've done it. You want a better result, basically.
Yeah. All right. That's the same thing for me. 8 dice then. Double 10s and triple 7s and double 4s.
Yeah, no, they're not gonna try to further dice into that. So which result do you want for this? Double 10s or triple 7?
I think double 10s, with the triple 7s being no, and then we totally left.
It means that they also I look at that, and that would be them just not no chance to stop that, right? So double 10s, the land is efficiently stopped. Even the little mounts of dirt are now barren and salted, and whatever marmots and such live there carry sickness to other further.
Great.
It is it's a bad place to be, and it's going to be bad for a while.
Yes, good. Now the traders that want to travel the road will just speed further along into my comforting, warm embrace.
No.
I'll keep you safe.
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
Just travel. Bring their incredibly valuable wares for this land.
I think that's the extent of my actions for this year.
Yeah. Sheep, you still good, but just status quo.
I mean, status quo is sort of Romanfier's mission here, so I'm okay with that.
Okay.
Yeah, looking at the Dragonflame's resources, they're sort of not in the greatest space with a territory at 0.
Mm-hmm.
So
why is it 0?
Well, it shouldn't be 0.
You should heal it up, right?
Yeah, it was the cycle of a new year.
Oh shit, it was.
You'd have just the -1 from lost mine. Probably we can, I think, given the current situation, probably reduce your territory to 2 and remove the brute loss. I think at this point we probably got to accept the mine being gone. It can be taken back, but
Yeah, but I think with Romanfier at the helm, I'm still okay with just having the status quo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's fair. It's entirely fair. I certainly could imagine if we had Velignith here, things would have escalated in
slightly more active.
Quite different directions. Yeah.
How will they have escalated? No one knows. Not even Velignith.
No.
All right, and then I think next time we'll have Airy, and we'll just start by going through the year in Westgate, and that'll be a bit of a mess. And then we'll see if the dragons want to get together and do another thing. They might. They very well might.
Maybe. I don't think there's going to be any resolution of the Cloud Giant Peaks next time, which will be the last session Sheep is attending for the year.
I was amused with the idea. I can probably reveal that now. If he had gone up and talked to them, they would totally have just captured him.
I mean, it was incredibly obvious.
And I was like, man, what a way. So Sheep won't be here now for the next couple of sessions because he got captured.
On 2 characters.
Yeah,
Time for the third temporary character.
Both sitting in the cage. You're like, oh. Yeah. I think Valignant would be very upset with that. You got captured. God damn it.
And then it would be on Sheep to roleplay both of those dragons in prison.
Talking to each other every time we cut away from them.
We have a scene now. We cut to the prison.
Yeah. Well, then I would say thank you for playing.
Yeah. Had ourselves a nice short session here of a bit of roleplay, a bit of combat, a bit of rain.
Yeah. And that battle could have gone in a very different way had things been slightly different.
Yeah, we got him right where we wanted him.
Tough foe.
Turns out General Victus is very strong.
No.
When she gets an unconscious foe prone on the ground, yeah. She can make some face.
Yeah. Yeah, her move to just stand on someone's head. It's a credit to me that if I mental triumph in a battle against her, she could not grab me because I cannot be restrained.
Yeah. That would be annoying. But you'd have to just be searing mauled over and over again. Problem is, with Commander Victus, as with many brutes, she may be an elite, but she doesn't have that good to hit her.
Yeah, only a plus 22. I mean,
for a month, for a they have different math that you guys.
Yeah, I've seen the math of every monster we fight. And I'm like, man, I can't keep up.
I actually looking at plus 22 is not that high. I mean, it's like a 50-50 to hit. I mean, the 50-50 on a monster, that's reasonable. I keep forgetting just how high modifiers are in 4th edition.
Certainly very different from 5th edition.
Yeah, well, yeah, you got to keep in mind that he also just said that Brute's not, like, there specially isn't in there to hit modifier.
Yeah.
Like I have put some modicum of effort into protecting myself, and even then, it's still like you'll probably get hit.
I mean, elites are better at everything than a standard type would be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
wish
we
I
fight
was
a couple of them every now and then. Seems like most fights nowadays have someone special in them.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, not just elites. I remember rolling my eyes at the 18 reflex ogres have.
Yeah, that's true.
They were
fucking
quick
stupid
for some reason.
That half level.
Then let me just grand slam you. Haha.
That's a way to get people prone.
No matter what, you're still gonna eat some damage now. Well, fuck you too, ogre. Epic tier, an ogre walks up to you. Grand slam.
Yeah.
But no, like, I feel like we did a decent job based on all of the warning flags we received of trying not to fight the Cloud Giant, where the Cloud Giant is the strongest.
Yeah. No, that would have not gone well. I don't think.
Yeah. And if there were any doubt, the bolts of judgment raining down from the heavens on the Fire Giant really solidified that.
Mm-hmm. It would have looked bad if he had escaped back up there. For morale.
On both sides.
Oh yeah. I didn't see a situation where he could kill all of you down there. It was really not a good spot for him.
No.
Didn't have all the circumstantial benefits that he expected. By simply camping in their house. Like, oh, you come get me.
Yep. And that's the arrogance that we've seen from these giants throughout the campaign.
They're old, set in their ways.
Yeah.
I think we've also seen arrogant dragons.
We sure have.
And the Sphinx and other big monsters that are used to being the biggest thing around. Yeah.
And then they get beat up by smaller creatures.
Yeah. What a lesson, huh?
You know, one day I'll be the big creature and I'll be different.
I'll be beaten up by small creatures.
Yeah.
All these goblin commanders, and I'll laugh at them and say, ha! Not even 20 of you can do anything. And then I'll be mobbed.
I'll remember these lessons. I won't let this happen to me. That's right, Trey.
And you have that's like the cut to like gravestone, mobbed by kobolds in her sleep or something.
This
It's
attack.
a strong power. It's
pretty incredible, actually.
you can ensure a whole round of crits from all allies. That is a few enemies who can stand against that. Yeah. Now solos usually have stuff to stop that, but you don't find a lot of those anywhere.
Right.
And even the miss effect is like dazed save events. I'll take it.
Yeah. Any of those monsters that we'd fight there that would have multiple turns, like the Bahir, would obviously have a much easier time swatting that stuff away.
They're solo creatures, right? They're made to be hard to sort of control.
Yeah.
To not trivialize them. This guy worked well alongside other creatures. He didn't have them all because live up there. But yeah, it is fog.
Yeah. Yeah, obviously, like if he had like a defender or some sort of like screen of some kind, like he would have been a monster.
Yeah,
I could easily see that.
Oh, he could do a lot of bad things. Ensuring that he got to do critical hits is
that's an ability I'd like to have.
Very powerful ability, right?
It recharges on a 6.
And that the steady aim move action, so he can do extra damage whenever he doesn't move.
2d8 extra damage if you don't move. I'd like that ability too.
Just
combat advantage as long as he's concealed.
Just
other
turn
powers
into a cloud giant, please.
See.
Yeah, can my next character be a cloud giant?
The had you entered up there, the first thing that you would have hit by, and I can tell you this now because I don't think this guy's going to get free anytime soon, would be the clinging fog.
Of course.
First move to make people unable to do anything.
Yep.
Blinded and restrained. That's a good combo.
Yeah.
Getting
You're
shot
helpless,
from far away.
Yeah.
Though it wouldn't really matter so much. It's again, this is one of those. Oh no, they're getting close. Let's restrain and blind them so I can leave. Same with the radiant winds, which is like, let's get them away from me.
Yep.
So that you can stand there and do steady aim, radiant.
All right.
From 30 meters away, ideally.
But this is where I'm gonna stop the stream. We'll be.
How dare you, sheep? These viewers, they might want to know more from the word of Manikai.
Yeah.
Well, they can tune in next week. Same time, same location, hopefully. Assuming my internet works.
It'll be the last time Sheep does this for this year.
Yeah.
Next week.
Wow. What's that even gonna mean? I don't know.
Nobody knows. It's unknowable.
See what's this, right? Big things can happen every session. Complete turnaround. What will Thunderhome do next time?
That's
No,
right.
will there be a resolution?
Yeah, what scam will the dwarves try to run next? Come attack us!
How will they? Yeah, and then they lost. That was interesting. They really like to conquer that host, but the host is just so much bigger than them.
Good night, stream.
5